Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is time once again to bring you live stock car racing at the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Carlos Acosta. And tonight, Carlos, we take on the Lady in Black Darlington Raceway here tonight in the Throwback 200. And Carlos, everything's on the line here tonight as Nick Indelicato goes for his 5th win in a row here tonight.
It's going to be amazing we can pull this off. I was shocked that he won last week. I was shocked he won 3 in a row, got 4 in a row. And remember, Will, it is 4. He already got that one. So we're moving on to 5. So just don't forget that. But yeah, 5 in a row if he gets this will be unstoppable. The DSCR has only run 4 races and they've won by the same person in the number 4 machine. And we talked to him last week after the race was over. And he was excited that he actually got that 4th win because it matches his car number, and that's what he was looking forward to the most.
Yeah, definitely, Carlos. And the way he was able to run through that field last week, definitely had to work for it last week here as we take a look at the track here tonight. And Carlos, this is a weird track for everybody here at Darlington. It's one of the most difficult courses out there because it's unlike anything else the drivers see all season.
No, we got 2 sets of corners with 2 different radiuses. Turns 1 and 2 are going to be a slightly easier, more wider radius of a corner, and then turns 3 and 4 is going to be much tighter. You're going to have to use your brakes a lot harder going into that set of corners, and of course, we've seen that lead to some very dramatic finishes.
Yeah, definitely. As we take a look here, last week's race was nothing but spectacular once again there, Carlos. We'll take a look at there as we're still practicing here, getting ready for qualifying. Take a look at last week's results there. Of course, Nick Indelicato won his 4th win in a row last week. But looking at those, just the awards that were given out last week, of course, Zach Roethlisberger started out on the lead there. We had Joshua Robinson, who also has a pole this season, David Westergreen, as well as DJ Weeks. But of course, Dick Indelicato with those 4 wins in a row. Lap leader last week was Barrett Paulhemus there, Carlos. So
that's the second one.
Barrett, of course. Yeah, definitely. A 2nd win of the year there for leading the most laps, but of course can't just get that 79 across the finish line first. Seth Ross comes into this race too with a big motivation from last week here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League, but also big motivation last night, finishing 2nd in his modified league there. And fastest lap race of the award goes to John DeBarro, but he's taking a provisional here tonight, so we won't see him out on the track here, Carlos. But who are you, other than the number 4 here, as we're still taking a look at cars racing around the track here at the Lady in Black, who are you keeping an eye out here for other than Nick Indelicato?
I think Min Hong has something for these drivers here tonight. Currently 3rd fastest with less than 30 seconds to go in this practice session. Min Hong has shown that he's got the speed to be able to contend for the wins. Now he just needs to kind of get some more good luck going his way. But if he can get that out of the way, we might see a fresh face here among the list of a winner in this league. Hopefully that becomes a list of winners.
Yeah, and one of the names that kind of charged through the field last week in last week's race was Nick Vasquez, Carlos. One of those names we kept an eye out throughout the race, went from 28th to 12th, won that Hard Charger Award, finished just outside the top 10, so keep an eye out on his name here as well. But Carlos, it has been the ponies that have dominated so far here tonight, or this season. They are dominating the manufacturer's title right now with 40 overall points, holding off, of course, those Toyotas that everybody knows about. But it's always been those ponies out in front.
Yeah, and the bow ties as well. But yeah, Fort's won every single race so far, but that doesn't mean no other manufacturer is close to making it count for them. But Darlington's a different beast. Of course, Throwback night here, the Throwback 200. We're seeing some very classic race cars here tonight.
Yeah, Carlos, I love it when we throw back here on these paint schemes. Me and you are close to age, so we grew up in the days of Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin. We had the old school Budweiser car of Dale Jr. out there. Those were the good old days of racing. We'll see some of those paint schemes here tonight. As we're now taking a look at qualifying here. This is the first car to hit the track here. We'll see who's going to start off on the pole at Darlington. And as these drivers take on...
I was under the impression that I was significantly older than you.
How far are we apart, Carlos?
I actually don't know how old you are, but I'm 27.
Oh, I'm actually older than you, Carlos.
What? You're younger than me.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, sir. I'm 29.
Oh, that's not too bad. All right. I thought you were like 21 or something.
No, no, I have one more year left in my 20s, unfortunately, and it's creeping down. Birthday's in January, so just a few more
Uh,
months left in my 20s.
yeah, for me it's in October on a Tuesday, so that'll be fun.
There we go. Hey, happy early birthday to you there, Carlos.
Cheers. You might actually you might be commentating me that day. I don't know.
There we go. It'd be a birthday race for Carlos here. And Carlos, I wanted to ask you, as we're taking a look at qualifying here, you see Nick Vasquez right there
No, it's
running
a
a
week
personal
off.
best here at this track.
It's a week off.
We
It's,
see.
it's the 1 week in October you guys aren't covering.
There we go. Perfect. So you get to celebrate a bit there.
Yeah.
Taking a look at qualifying once again. Sam Brochu's at the top so far right now. Barrett Plahimus, we just talked about him, has led the most laps in 2 races so far this season, is currently in the 2nd position on that grid. And Carlos, we spoke about how difficult this Lady in Black track is here tonight. And the corners are very different. How do you conquer this track here? Is it a lot of letting off, letting the car coast? Can you ride it through some of these corners? Or what are some of the best lines we're going to see here tonight?
Unfortunately, I haven't had much of a chance to actually drive this track with this current car. But from my past experience, turns 1 and 2, you're not necessarily going flat out, but you kind of have to commit very hard to make those corners. And then turns 3 and 4, you have to make sure you're pushing your car to the very limits that you can without going ahead of it or pushing past that boundary and getting yourself wrecked. Also, momentum's going to play a big key. These straightaways are pretty long, and you kind of almost have to take the same approach as you would at a track like Bristol, where the corners are wide, but you're going to lose a bunch of time if you don't get that exit correct.
Yeah, exactly. This track can be your best friend or your worst enemy. It's just how you conquer it here tonight. One driver that is conquering it so far is Riley Marabello, who's now at the top of the grid there, knocked off Sam Brochu for that top speed by just 1/100th of a second up at the top there, Carlos. Just seen a few of these drivers take the field here. Right now, it's looking like Riley's going to have that top speed of a 29.3 so far here at Darlington with Sam Brochu. Oh no, knocked off the top there by Tom Ogle.
Yeah, right as you were talking about it, right at 29.27. Of course, that's rounded off a little bit. But another quick thing I wanted to mention is another very important thing is getting into pit road is very difficult in this track.
Yeah, very difficult indeed. Is a tricky thing to get down pit road here tonight. And as we've seen throughout this season, there is a lot of strategy that goes into week in and week out in this series, whether it's tire strategy, whether it's fuel strategy, whether it's finding a teammate on the track. There's a lot of different things these drivers have to think about throughout the race. And we saw it last week there, Carlos. Nick and Delicato had that strategy there at the end to time his pit stop just right, get his race car out there. And once he was able to work his way back up into that lead pack, he overtook for the lead and he just never looked back.
Yeah. Where you qualify will matter pretty important as well, although that's kind of weird. We have 17 cars that have posted a lap so far, and then 14 drivers who haven't posted a lap at all. So that's pretty weird. And right now the last 2 qualifiers are DJ Weeks and Johnny Eckert. So it's kind of weird to see them all the way at the end. Something must have happened during their qualifying attempt. Will, am I low now?
No, you're here, Carlos. I was just taking a look at that, but it looks like the grid is set here for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Carlos just spoke about a few of the drivers that didn't want to take a lap time here at Darlington, so looks like that field is set. We're ready to rock and roll here with Tom Ogle getting a pole award here tonight.
Yep, Tom Ogle got the pole with Riley Marabello in second. Sam Brochu is going to start off tonight's race in third with Kean Riley in fourth. Josh Robinson just gridded in right now in fifth, and number 30 machine, with Barrett Paulhemus in sixth, Damian Leininger in seventh, Andrew Hess eighth, David Westergreen in ninth, and Seth Rawls will be rounding out your top 10.
course, we'll jump off in the 11th position with Vincent Isabella. To his outside, it's going to be Zach Roethlisberger there in the 12th position, a winner here in this series so far. In the 13th position, we're going to jump on over to Jake Bustos there. The 14th position is going to be Zach Evans. Nick Vasquez is going to roll off in the 15th position. We just spoke about how he was a hard charger last week there. Johnny Eckert there in that number 90 machine is going to roll off 16th. DJ Weeks, another very competitive driver here in this series in that 97 machine, is going to roll off 17th. Nick Indelicato, Mr. 4 in a row, going for 5 here tonight, is going to roll off in the 18th position. Ty McIntosh in that number 10 machine is going to be 19th, and Justin Bentley is going to roll off in the 20th.
Yeah, and 21st is going to be Kevin Stronberg, 22nd Davis Warren. 23rd and number 08 machine is going to be Alex Buffoli. Ming Hong in 24th. Fred Anderson is going to be starting off tonight's race in 25th with Alexander Schumacher, a free agent he's riding down in 26th. Jordan Tarbell starting in 27th. Rich Allen in 28th. AJ Watkins in 29th. And the last two drivers here tonight for the Throwback 200 is Cameron Perez and Matt Brewer.
Yeah, Carlos, and that's going to be our starting grid for the Throwback 200 tonight, folks. We're throwing it back here on 3Y TV in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League as that pace car is now up and rolling. The grid is warming up those tires here, and as we do that, folks, let's run us through the race day information here. These drivers are going to run with a 75% fuel limit. 3 sets of tires on these race cars, 1 on the race car to start here. We have no fast repairs in this series. And then we'll jump on over to that point standings there, Carlos. You just threw up that wonderful graphic there on the screen. Of course, we spoke about Nick Indelicato with those 4 wins in a row. But things are very competitive below him there in the point standings there, Carlos. We see a lot of shifting parts week in and week out. You know, Barrett Polhemus is up there. Tom Ogle is going to start off in the pole. Tonight's in the 3rd. Riley Marabello, DJ Weeks. And then we jump down there at the cut line. Johnny Eckert in the 11th. And then Zach Roethlisberger right now is on that cut line, Carlos. So we'll see how he performs here tonight.
Yes, and this is going to be Tom Ogle's first pole of the season. So he'll be the 5th driver this season to get the pole.
As that pace car pulls off down to pit road, we're going to cruise around this last corner here. That green flag is about to wave here in the next session of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. We see that beautiful green flag in the air. It is waving. Things are on and popping here once again in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League as Tom Ogle is going to take them down into corner number 1.
No problem there for Tom Ogle going into turns 1 and 2 as the top 5 pretty much already single file. With, I believe, Bear Paul Hemus trying to battle actually into that 5th place spot, and there's a wreck. The 22 Western Green goes around.
Big wreck already on the backstretch there. David Westergreen, that 22 is sideways. And Johnny Eckert as well there, Carlos, in that 90.
That incident could have been a whole lot worse. Excellent job by the field to pretty much get around the spinning 22 and the slideways number 90 is... that just could have been way worse, honestly.
Yeah, way worse indeed for the rest of the field. But for those 2 drivers here tonight, as we take a look at that 3Y TV replay for you folks watching along with us here on YouTube. Ooh. Take a look there. Ooh, David Westergreen's going to take a hard impact on the outside wall there. I'm trying to see who that car was that was right on the back of him there. If they were checking up there, coming down to corner number 3.
I think it was Damien, but let's take a look. Change the camera angle up a bit. Is the 5 of Vincent Isabella.
Ooh. But you see right there, Carlos, when they come off of 2, David's already got the wiggles there coming off that corner. He's already a bit sideways. Vincent Isabella really had nowhere to go. You see right there, he's already got the wiggles. Gets tapped there by Vincent Isabella from behind. And you look at it at first glance, it looks like Vincent may have taken him out there, but at second glance, you know, Vincent was just holding his line there, and David was just getting sideways already.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know exactly what I'm up to say. We saw what the 22 David Westergren did, and he just gave it too much beans, unfortunately, at the exit of the corner. With these tires all cold, they're not fully warmed up to the temperatures yet. Just gave it too much beans and got it turned right around at the very end of the corner.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for those 2 drivers really trying to make their mark here tonight. David Westergreen has tried to put performances throughout the season so far, Carlos, but just can't get anything consistent enough to get a good finish to keep his playoff hopes alive there. And Johnny Eckert there in that 90,
Same
of course,
boat.
the admin hit. Yeah, same boat there. Just really, racing really hard week in and week out, but just can't get it together to get those consistent finishes through.
He's overshot his stall, it looks like. And he's not backing off, which is weird. I wonder if he's maybe called it done for the night already.
Yeah.
Oh, never
Yeah.
mind. I guess the lines must not match up with what iRacing has. I mean, he was over the line, right? You saw that.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. A little steamy, I would think, down pit road as well. I'm sure they're not too happy with a wreck on the first lap there, Carlos.
Yeah. We're gonna take care of a small issue, so we're gonna be offline. Sorry, not offline. We're gonna be quiet for just a couple seconds. So we'll be right back, guys.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live on 3 Wide TV. We had a caution on the very first lap there, Carlos. Little mishap between, I believe that was Vincent Isabella there and David Westergreen. David Westergreen got loose off of corner number 2. Unfortunately, Johnny Eckert in that 90 was just trying to avoid things, got sideways as well. Both cars took heavy damage in that incident, but good thing we see them both back out on the track here tonight. It's going to be a long way to go here, folks. We're going to run 147 laps here at the Lady in Black. We're going to do one stage of 40. Next stage is going to end at lap 80, and then we're going to race it out for those last few laps there, Carlos.
Yep. Remember, 3 green, white, checkered attempts. But other than that, everything's pretty much normal. I'm not sure if we had a chance to mention, but these drivers do have 4 sets of tires overall for all of tonight, including the set they start on. So 3 in pit road, 1 that they start with.
Yes, indeed, Carlos is right now. We're getting ready to go green once again. Just going around the last corner here, corner number 3. The pace lights are off of the pace car here. Gonna try to get around the track at least one time here at the Lady in Black, as Tom Ogle still in the lead. Gonna lead us to the start finish line as that green flag is in the air, coming around the last corner here at Darlington. Sambrosio is gonna start on his inside right here. We'll see judge this restart to see if Tom Ogle can get a good restart, and you see him jump just a little bit there crossing that start finish line. He's gonna lead them down into corner number 1.
Yeah, this is a much better restart or start of the race for Thomas. He got a pretty good separation between the rest of the pack, but that being said, Sambrosio was able to kind of wrangle that up just a little bit, but the top 2 drivers are separated single file. Top 4, top 5 actually, looks like the top 10 are now all single file going into this turn number 3 and 4 to try to complete this first lap here under green flag conditions.
Yeah, we have a new leader on the track as well. Sambrosio overtook the lead position there. Kean Riley's now up in the second position right there, down into corner number 1. Kean Riley is coming off a win last night in the modified series. He races in, trying to keep that streak alive for Shift Esports here, trying to keep his, I believe there are teammates there, if I'm not mistaken, Nick and Delicato. They might be, if I'm not correct there. Lean down to corner number 3 here. Sambrosio still your race leader. Kean Riley's right there, as Riley Marabello is right behind Kean right there. So they're starting to separate those top 3 coming around the last corner to the start finish line. No separation so far in that top 3 there. Single file down into 1.
I'm not sure what happened. Like, one moment Tom Ogle's leading this race, and next thing you know, he's all the way down to 5th. Now in 6th.
You'll have to see what happened to Tom Ogle there. Drifted a lot there, but we saw that line of drivers that really passed him. We'll check out that 3 Wide TV replay for you folks at home to see what happened there. Not really much, just some race moves behind him. Got overtaken there by Sambrosio, and then that line just, they really just squeezed him to the outside. He had no help out there, and that line just passed him like a freight train.
Yeah, wow, in a matter of seconds, you lose that. Like, you would think you're in Talladega or Daytona. He slowed down to let one guy go by, and he's all the way down outside the top 5 now.
Yeah, and Carlos, there's really nothing you can do there as a driver. You can all but just wave at those cars as they're going by you because that amount of draft and that amount of speed that's going by you there, there's not you can put that pedal to the floor and there's really nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's just trying to find a spot to get yourself in and stop losing so many spots. But these first 5 drivers, including Tom, appear to be separating from the rest of the field as Seth Rawls a little bit by himself, and then Josh Robbins is kind of leading this next pack, featuring the majority of the rest of the field. As taking it easy here at Darlington in the Throwback 200. These drivers, they want to make sure they can get there at the end because this is one of those tracks where you're not really fighting the competition. You're more trying to fight yourself and try to survive, and that usually tends to lead into some of the more cleaner racing, longer green flag runs. And as I mentioned earlier, you're gonna have to watch out how you enter pit road.
Yeah, we'll have to do a paint job run through here. Maybe the next caution there, we'll run through some of these awesome paint schemes we have here tonight as we go take a multi-cam point of view here at 3Y TV. And of course, we have our in-car camera view there, Carlos, our wonderful in-race reporter.
Yeah, but you know what's awesome here at Darlington?
What's that?
He's not the only one.
Uh-oh, we got 2. Also got Ty McIntosh up there.
Of course it's not working when I mention it. Wait, but it's working. Oh,
but hey,
I never turned it on. That's on me. I never turned it on.
There he is right there. And Ty's got a great run going so far here, Carlos. Up 7 spots in this race. And one of those drivers as well that's really trying to push through here. He's racked up some good performances, but really, I think, really wants to put that car in victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, I was mentioning earlier, I talked about how Ty McIntosh, I know he's got the skills to run and compete for these wins. He just had some he's just had some tough luck and made a couple mistakes that's kind of taken him out of some of these races. But I have a feeling tonight's going to be a little different for him. And now that we got an in-car car of him, we might just be able to get the job done here tonight for 3Y TV. Plus, he also has a devoted fan out here in the chat called Trasher's Black Stallion. So, rooting on Ty there.
Yeah, definitely rooting him on indeed right there. Of course, up 7 spots so far here at the Lady in Black. Look at Zach Evans as well, keeping it cool right there. And Zach, I believe, is down the grid just a bit. But of course, another one of those drivers too. You know, Zach really tries to put it through each week in and week out here, Carlos. But just seems to always get caught up there in that middle of the pack when the trouble starts to ensue.
Yeah, usually the meat fine car ends up being me no fine towards the end of the race. Most of the time, due to things outside of Zach's controls, he's just gotten the rotten end of deals many times. Hopefully, some of these days he'll be able to break through and be able to finish where he feels he deserves.
Yeah, of course there, but we want to thank those drivers for letting us get a good look at their iRacing setups and their concentration throughout tonight's race, as there's no change up at the top so far right now as we're on lap 16. Sam Brochu still your race leader there in that number 23 machine. And Carlos, I'm going to test your NASCAR knowledge there. Do you know what paint scheme that is that he's running here tonight in that 23?
This one seems very familiar. Like, it's something about this kind of screams Cal Petty to me. But I think that that's wrong. But it's from like the 90s era, I believe. The font tells me that. I just can't quite remember where this is from.
I can't either, Carlos. We'll have to ask him.
Oh, I thought you knew. You're over here testing my. How are you gonna test my knowledge if you don't know?
We'll have to ask him if we get a chance to interview him here as we're counting down the laps here in stage number 1. As mentioned, we're going to run about 40 laps here in stage number 1. The next caution, we'll have to ask him if he's still leading the race here, where that paint scheme is from. Maybe we'll run through those paint schemes and get the fans a good point of view of some of these race cars here tonight, as a lot of these drivers went above and beyond to show off their throwback paint schemes here tonight, show off their love of NASCAR history, as we're not seeing much change in position so far here tonight, Carlos. I've seen a little bit of a change right there. When we see changes here on the track, positional changes so far, it's really these lines of drivers that are really linking up and passing almost one car at a time, 3 or 4 cars on one. It was 3 against 1. We saw it there with Tom Ogle, who's still now holding on to that 6th position. You can't do anything when that train keeps rolling.
Yeah, when you're outside that position, you're just going to constantly drop back. There's really nothing you can do. But taking a look at some of these other paint schemes, isn't this the Dream Machine scheme? Like the Aaron Stream Machine scheme that was running back in the day.
Yeah, I
Back in the
think so.
2000s, like 2007 or something. This reminds me of Rudiment scheme. Yeah. Ooh, in the wall a little bit.
A little
Yeah, I'm
Carl
trying to take
Edwards
a look at some of
throwback
these
there.
schemes. Yeah. I know this one's an old one. Ooh, in the wall. Can we stop having cars hit the wall?
Oh yeah, they're scraping coming off that corner there down into corner number 3. As mentioned, when we started off this broadcast, we took a look at that track formation. This is an odd track that these... Ooh! A bit of a nudge there coming off of the corner. They're coming off of 4. We have a battle ensuing right now. Carlos is digging down into corner number 1. This is a battle for position on the track right here. This 35 wants to get around right here. They're digging on that back fender. We'll take a look at that 35 machine. Is that the MLB All-Star car that Dale Jr. ran?
No. This is a scheme that they're always running, him and his teammates. Similar style scheme.
As you see, that 35 is going to try to the inside right there. Oh, Wisely has to check up there on the exit of the corner. He's going to follow around into the next corner there.
Is this the old Folgers coffee, number 25 or 11?
Yeah, I think
so.
it is.
Yeah.
So instead of the coffee, it's a White Claw on the side of that race car.
Yeah. Good way to wake yourself up. The 25 of Seth Rawls. Unfortunately, I'm the worst person to ask about these things. I'm not quite sure this might be a throwback, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Yeah, we want to invite everybody to go check out Seth Rawls' design as well, as he does all his own paint schemes for these race cars here tonight. Take a look at that number 30 machine there. Carlos, we're definitely going to have to speak to some of these drivers here. Some of these drivers, it's kind of hard to go as far back as some of these drivers might be going there. We took a look at that number 93 machine there. Maybe some of the fans that are watching along with us here on 3YTV could help us out there. Name out some of these paint schemes here. If you're a big NASCAR fan or you're a fan of NASCAR history,
oh, the Cartoon Network ones. Oh, I can't remember the
no
drivers.
Way.
That was a 27, I think, had one, I think back in 97. I was watching a paint scheme of some of these cars a couple of days ago, so the memory's kind of still there. But I know that, yeah, back in the late 90s, they had a couple cars with some Cartoon Network characters on this. But this is, this is Cartoon Network, yeah.
Oh man, this is fantastic there. The good old days of Cartoon Network, Dexter's Laboratory. Oh man, Scooby-Doo was on there, Powderpuff Girls. I mean, all those good shows there. As we take a look at Mr. 4 in a row there, Nick and Delacato. Let's see what paint scheme that is there, Carlos.
That's a Kevin Harvick scheme.
Yeah, indeed there. And the way he's racing this season, he's trying to have the Kevin Harvick season that Kevin had a few years ago.
Yeah, back with the old closer luck and everything. So, not to say that both of those drivers got lucky, but definitely getting there at the end where it counts as living up to that closer nickname. I remember this car. This was the number 10 Johnny Benson car.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that car is definitely familiar as well with that paint scheme on the side. That's an easy one there. So is this one there, that number 3.
It's a classic one. I believe this is the one that Junior drove in the Busch Series.
That is the exact one. Yes, sir.
This is, again, before my time, but some of these schemes are too timeless to not know.
Indeed, right here, as we're taking a look at some of these paint schemes, we're keeping an eye on the action on the track as well. These battles that are already taking place, as we're now 13 laps to go here in stage number 1.
Oh no!
Big wreck on the backstretch. Huge wreck there, as a few cars we were just taking a look at get piled up and ruin those beautiful paint schemes on the backstretch.
Oh man, just when we were looking at some of these cars, Andrew Hess and Damian Leininger involved in these two incidents, and this one kind of seemed a little bit worse than the first one we saw. You have to give me a moment as I have to queue up the replay. It didn't show up naturally for me here.
So we take a look at what happened there. Oh no, you see that 54 and the 35. We were just taking a look at those beautiful paint schemes. 35. Man, that just looks... It's one of those situations there, Carlos, where the 54 was holding his line, the 35 was holding his line, and it just... You know, you come off the corner, and there's really not much you can do but just hold your lines there. It didn't look anything too malicious there coming off of the corner. They're side-by-side racing. They're pretty tight. 35's going to hold his line there on the exit. the 54, excuse me, is going to hold his line there, and the 35 on the outside just really had nowhere to go.
Well, I think the 35 held his job perfectly, held his line perfectly fine. I think what happened was either the 54 moved up a little or there was some net code. I really can't tell there. It could have been either or, and whichever one it is, obviously there's no ill intent there. It's just hard racing closer at the end. I think I do want to put this one on netcode, but obviously it's not really up to us. And even if we do know which one it is, it really doesn't matter. But we got 11 drivers staying out. 12th and back are currently down in pit road. So people that stayed out: Sam Brochu, Kean Riley, the names you're seeing out here on the top 10 here on our on our tower. These are the drivers that stayed out, and 12th and back have gone down pit road. But pretty interesting to see already. 29 laps into this race, we kind of have a split field, kind of, it seems.
Yeah, and Carlos, I wanted to ask you here, as they're heading down pit road, what would be the advantage of heading down pit road early here?
Well, obviously the advantage is getting some fresh tires, and even though it's going to be a little difficult, it will still happen. You'll be able to pass some of these drivers that did not go down pit road and possibly have a really good finish for the stage. We're going to be restarting with less than 10 laps to go in this stage. Remember, stage 1 ends at lap number 40. But the downside is you're going to have one less set of tires at the end of the race for you to choose for.
This is true. So kind of a huge strategy here with 10 laps to go here in stage number 1. Nothing too crazy so far here, Carlos. Still the same leader on the track, and that is Sam Brochu there in that 23. We saw that line of cars that went screaming past Tom Ogle. There's about 4 or 5 cars that just pushed him to the outside and just went strolling right past him. That was led by Sam Brochu there in that 23 machine. He has Kean Riley right behind him. Riley Marabello is up in the 3rd position. Tom Ogle's done a great job of trying to fight back up in there. He's in the 4th, and Barrett Paul Hemus, who led the most laps last week, just wasn't able to cross that victory or cross that finish line first, is now up into the 5th position. Seth Rawls is in the 6th. You got Robinson in 7th. Nick Delocado is slowly creeping his way like TLC up the grid right now. Ty McIntosh is in 9th, and Strandberg is going to be our top 10 currently with 10 laps to go here in stage number 1.
Yeah, this stage is almost pretty much almost over. As you see here, this classic 01 of what show was this again? The Dukes of Hazzard, right?
Dukes of Hazzard, yes sir.
Yeah, a show I haven't seen, but I am aware of this car. We have over here the number 09 of Alexander Schumacher quickly while we still have some time. I don't think this one is a throwback in particular. Sorry, Jay Walker. Is 93? We've seen this one already. 94. The flames look familiar, but I need to see if it's what I think it is. I don't think it is that.
Take a look here. The 08 is just rocking just a nice clean paint job, and there you see that Pennzoil machine here of that 12 on here as well. Get an opportunity to shout out all these wonderful paint schemes here on the track. There's that number 3. We just took a look. Ooh, we all know that one. That's a Chase Elliott Napa Auto Parts, that championship car he just won the championship with just a few years ago there.
Was it? I don't think that was that scheme. Was it?
It might have been there.
I don't think that
12
was
12 isn't Pennzoil. Oh, we get that from the chat there. Number 12 isn't Pennzoil.
Number 12 isn't Pennzoil. What is it then? It says Pennzoil. Oh, maybe I have the wrong scheme, but we're about to go back to green. Let me restart Trading Paints just in case.
Once again, as we had our second caution of the night, Sam Brochu is going to get a big restart there as we head down into corner number 1. Kean Riley's going to check up just a little bit there in the second, but huge separation from the leader in second place. He's coming around corner number 2 to that backstretch right now. Still Sam Brochu is leading the way, and we're starting to see a bit of separation there from the top 4 cars and the 3rd place car as we head down into corner number 3.
Yeah, no problem here once again for these top 4 drivers, top 5, pretty much all single file. That being said, Josh Robinson has to hold back Ty McIntosh and Seth Rawls here. Let's see if we can go on board here with Ty McIntosh here just a little bit as we see how he's going to handle this restart driving over here. I'm not on the right camera angle.
Right now.
There I am.
Taking an onboard ride here with Ty McIntosh here. We want to thank him once again for giving us an in-car camera review, getting an insight of how he concentrates there on the iRacing simulator. You see him battling for position right now, trying to grab onto a top 5 position with 7 laps to go here in stage number 1. See, right now we're single file around the track, heading down to corner number 1. See, we don't see much passing on Darlington so far here tonight, Carlos. Do you think it's just that these drivers are trying to pace themselves throughout tonight's race? We have a bit of a long race here tonight at Darlington. Or is it just a feeling out process of knowing where to pass?
Definitely is a part of the feeling out process. But the drivers who went down Perry Road, I'm expecting them to kind of push it and push it pretty hard. Is right now, the first driver who went down Perry Road is Alexander Schumacher, who is a free agent, hint, hint. So he's going to be trying to get as many spots as he wants. Already up 17 spots from where he started. And he's moving up just a little bit since he went down Perry Road, although he hasn't moved up as quickly as I expected him to. So it'll be pretty interesting to see where he finishes and if any drivers here understand. Oh, man.
See, right now,
I just realized I said throwback. So thank you, Trasher, the Black Stallion, for letting me know.
It's just the throwback. 200 as we have a wreck on the front stretch. We have a wreck. We had that car go sideways just across the start-finish line here. No caution yet on the racetrack. We did see a car briefly go sideways there just on the corner of our screen. Get an indication of who that was. It just got sideways on the track. It's Johnny Eckert there in the 90.
Yeah, and unfortunately the stream is a little choppy right now, but in a little bit everything will be back up to normal. But let's pull up the replay here, see just what happened.
Yeah, we'll take a look here at that 3-wide TV replay. There you see Johnny
just too much beans.
Ooh. Again, they're coming off of
Johnny, you know
4.
better than this. Don't spill the beans. Also, how is that not a caution?
I think it may have just been a one-car incident. They didn't want to throw a caution here as we're counting down the laps here in stage number 1 with 3 laps to go. Like we have a battle for the lead on our hands right now, Carlos.
Yeah, side by side, Kean Riley and Sam Brochu are going across the start-finish line here. 3 laps to go to end this stage. Continuing they go, and the inside goes to number 11, Kean Riley. Advantage out to the outside of 23 of Sam Brochu. He's going to hold on to lead just a little bit longer.
Yeah, Sam Brochu's going to take them around here down the backstretch down into corner number 3. See Kean Riley's right on that back bumper here down into corner number 3 right now. We're on the apex of round 4, heading into corner number 4 around to that front stretch here. Kean Riley still on that back bumper here as we're on lap 39. Counting it down here to the end of the stage. Sam Brochu is going to take them down into corner number 1 with Kean Riley right on that back bumper. So leading the way around 1 and 2 to that backstretch. Sam Brochu is our leader.
Yeah, Sam Brochu was vulnerable there for a couple seconds. But since then, he started to thrive as Alexander Schumacher with the fresh tires going all the way up to second. Might get the lead. Well, he came from Pier Road. He got those fresh tires. And it's going to work out for him. I thought it wouldn't, but my gosh, it's working out here. 1 lap to go here to end the stage.
Where did Schumacher come from? He came out of nowhere like an abracadabra. The Magic Man is now leading the race here. Schumacher is pulling away from the rest of the field in that first position. That 09 machine's going to take them down the backstretch by a long margin. Down to corner number 3 around 4. It looks like Schumacher is going to take our stage number 1 victory here in the Throwback 200, excuse me, as Schumacher is going to get the stage 1 victory.
Crossing the line, it's going to be his for sure. Second place is going to be Brochu, Kean Riley third, and Nick Vasquez. With that, also pit road strategy isn't going to work out for him as much as he wanted to. Finishing tonight's first stage in 4th. Remember, cautions do not come out, so these drivers are still racing here now that we're into stage 2.
Whoa! Whoa, we had a huge checkup off of 2 right there. Sam Brochu, Vasquez, Kean Riley, all of them just checked up big time coming off of corner number 2 as we're down into 3. Vasquez just made a pass on Sam Brochu around 3 and into 4 right now coming down the front stretch. Nick Vasquez also came out of nowhere there. Had a huge hard charger award last week, now trying to hard charge his way up into the lead as we're around the corner here right now. Nick Vasquez is now trying to chase down our leader Schumacher, who is at quite a distance already, about a 3-second lead down into corner number 3.
I gotta say, I actually forgot that the caution doesn't get thrown for the end of the stage. So I was over here thinking that these drivers that went down Perry Road, the strategy, it's gonna cost them a set of tires at the end of the race, but realistically now, unless a caution comes out like right now, they're not really losing anything that much compared to the drivers who did not go down Perry Road in the last caution. If anything, they're gaining more time.
Not at all there, Carlos, as Schumacher still our race leader here on lap number 43 here in the Throwback 200. Nick Vasquez is in the second position. Sam Broshu, who's led virtually the most of the race here tonight, Carlos, is down into third, now into fourth. But Foley has climbed his way up into the podium.
Yeah, actually take over for a little bit while I do some graphical cleanup here. It's not that the stage is over.
Yeah, as you take a look at Schumacher there in that 09, so leading him around here on lap 44. Very tight around the corner. A lot of drivers are going to run that high side lane there. They're going to dig back down to the inside here to go around. As we have a big move there on the backstretch, thinking about making a pass there. Just a little bit. There goes Vincent Isabella to the inside. He's going to overtake right there. He's going to try to make another 2-for-1 machine. So leading the way here. Here's our stage 1 victor here in the Throwback 200 live on 3 Wide TV. Take a look at that grid so far. Nick Vasquez has worked his way up into second. But right now, Carlos Schumacher is just racing his way up here at Darlington. He's got about a 5-second lead, but I am impressed by that speed out of the number 5 machine of Vincent Isabella. We saw him getting BOGOs like a grocery store all over the track here tonight. He was going 2-for-1, 2-for-1, 2-for-1 all around the track here. He's now up into the 4th position, trying to climb up there to catch Buffoli in the 3rd position.
Yeah, and it looks like we finally got the paint scheme of the 12 sorted out. Unfortunately, Trading Paints is just not working correctly today. This is why you saw the stream kind of having a little bit of a stutter issue here as we were trying to get that paint scheme up and loaded correctly. Apologize for that. So hopefully that isn't gonna happen again. But unfortunately, we're kind of limited here in our bandwidth where 3-Way TV headquarters is at. But now that we're back here in motion, you guys haven't missed a thing so far. Stage 2 ends in lap 80. And listen, Will, I gotta ask you something. Do you know why this race is so important here tonight?
Why is that, Carlos?
Because next week, we're going to go ahead and have another Dash or Cash race. So the top 4 finishers here tonight qualify for that race.
Oh, and Mr. Moneybags himself, Nick Indelicato, has loved all these Dash for Cash races so far as he has bagged his bags of cash here, winning 4 in a row. He qualifies first. He wins the next Dash for Cash race. He's just racking them up here, Carlos, but right now he is outside of that top 4 position to qualify for that Dash for Cash. You know, we want to thank our sponsors, Manny Rays, as well as Pro Air for sponsoring those events. But here we go. Oh, thought about a pass for the lead up there with Nick Vasquez. And it looks like Kean Riley made a pass up there for Sam Broshu. Broshu's already dropped down to the 5th position when Schumacher made that pass there. But right now our top 4 on the track is Schumacher up there in that 09 machine. Buffoli in the 2nd position, Nick Vasquez in 3rd, and Vincent Isabella would be our Dash for Cash drivers if this race ended right now.
Yep, and the first 4 in the track right now are 4 drivers that did go down pit road under that last caution. Sam Broshu is actually the first driver who did not go down pit road and actually hasn't gone down pit road at all tonight. So, you know, I gotta say, pretty good so far for him. Hopefully he stays in the lead lap. He's gonna need to do that. And at this point, if a caution comes out, he'll be able to recover.
Yeah, and recover you need to do here as we're on lap 53. Next break in the action is going to take place at lap 80. So a huge run
break
to
in the action.
Stage 2.
Remember, no caution, so there won't be a break in the action.
No caution. We'll just name a Stage 2 winner there. You're going to get some bonus points for winning this stage, but no breaks here. It's just like a game of soccer or rugby. Cool, you get the stage victory, but you got to keep that momentum going. You got to keep that train moving here. And we saw it there, Carlos. You know, a few of these drivers kind of thought about the end of the stage. They stayed out, and then some of the drivers went down pit road, and we saw the difference, and we're seeing the difference here on the track. Those drivers that headed down pit road, the speed that those cars have, especially Schumacher, who now almost has a 5-second lead on 2nd place.
Yeah, and remember, as I mentioned earlier, the top 4 right now did all go down pit road. And I will say it did took a little bit longer than what I actually expected. But considering that it's still early in the race, these drivers are trying to kind of figure out what's going on. There's no need to wreck the car so early, put themselves in positions to end their night or end the nights of others. Kind of made sense that it actually took a little bit. I just wasn't thinking correctly.
right now on lap 55. Ooh, big move there out of David Westergreen coming off of corner number 4 there. We saw David tagged up early in this race. Actually, it was lap, I think, a half there, Carlos. Done a great job of working his way back up the field, up the grid with a damaged race car there. He's up in the 9th position.
Yeah, doing pretty good so far up in 9th, David Westergreen. Remember, he did get some slight damage, but with the cars nowadays, as we got Sambrosia going down pit road, with the cars nowadays, you're able to get away with a hit or two. But remember, this new accumulated damage model that iRacing has with these cars, you can't get away with that forever.
Yeah, and Carlos, we're going to start to see these green flag pit stops take place. As just mentioned, folks, a few of these drivers stayed out there at the end of stage 1. Those leaders that we saw there in stage number 1. Of course, there's Sam Brochu heading down pit road there. You see Tom Ogle as well down there. A few of these drivers that were leading the race there for the first, I'd say, 20, 30 laps there, now heading down pit road, get those pit stops out of the way. Now, Carlos, my question to you here on lap 57, do you think we're going to see a reshuffling of the grid, seeing as though the drivers that are now leading have pit before these guys, but are going to go, as you know, tick down stage number 2, their tires, their fuel tanks are going to be a lot more wear on them compared to these leaders that are leading the first half of the race. Do you think we're going to have a complete reshuffle of this grid?
For a short while, yes. For the next 15 to around 15 laps or so, we're going to have drivers staying out. And then when those drivers who did go down pit road that first time go down pit road a second time, this is pending we all stay green, then they're going to be pretty far back for the rest of the field, and they're going to be towards the end of the field, very separated from the lead. That being said, until these fresh tires catch them back up, so it's going to be a whole cycle. And right now, maybe it's a little bit too early to tell who's got the winning strategy right now. But if it all stays green, it's not really going to shake anything up. The only problem would be if any drivers get stuck behind slower traffic or whatever the case is. But that's usually the only problem you're going to be seeing here, is these drivers who have fresh tires approach drivers who have old tires. And if we're going to have a caution, it'll probably come from there.
Taking a look at this multicam point of view here live on 3Wide TV. Taking a look on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, those green flag pit stops that are taking place, but also on the top side of your screen there, we almost saw a wreck there on the exit of corner number 2. Big battle is ensuing here on the track here for position as we're seeing this driver head down pit road here, Carlos. These drivers that are out here racing it out here are these drivers that have pit right before the end of stage number 1. A big battle heading down to corner number 1.
Pit road. We saw that in the first screen, brought down into a tiny small screen. But Schumacher's going down pit road. Like I say, it's a little earlier than I thought.
Yeah, Carlos, I would say so too. But maybe he's starting to think like me up here in the booth. You saw we saw a huge wave of drivers head down pit road just a little while ago, and the speed that Schumacher saw that he had there on the freshies and the fuel tank, he maybe is thinking, maybe if I can get down pit road after that second wave, I'm gonna have a little bit more fresher tires, fresher fuel tank, but I'm not gonna be in that mix of that second wave, the big second wave that we'll see head down pit road here in just a little while.
I don't know.
He's gonna be basically by himself there, Carlos.
I don't know. I don't know. This track's big enough. There's a lot of people here. You're gonna be stuck in traffic regardless. It's pretty weird. I would rather be in the position of approaching the slower drivers, and have less of the fast drivers kind of doing that, or the fresh tire drivers doing that, than kind of be in a position where fast traffic is approaching me. But I feel like if you were to do that strategy, then do it when the others are going down pit road. Don't do it 5 or 6 laps later, where realistically you haven't really wasted that much time, or they haven't wasted that much time on their tires, and you're kind of losing time overall. I probably would have just stayed out until the longest I could while still holding reasonable lap times before going down pit road, because A, if a caution comes out early, you're going to be trapping a lot of drivers a lap down, and B, you're overall you're gonna be putting yourself in a position where you're the one that has to navigate through the slower traffic as the main fine car is up against the wall, scraping some of that lettering off of that quarter panel.
Yeah, right there, Carlos. One thing I've noticed so far here in this season, as we are 5 races in the season so far in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League, one thing I've noticed, Carlos, you know, a lot of these drivers, they take the first stages almost as like a study session, you know, as a lot of these kids are in school, almost creeping up on the Thanksgiving breaks coming up here in about a month and a half or so. But, you know, it's a study session. You start to think about tires, you think about your fuel strategies, you find teammates on the track. And then that last run, like tonight, Carlos, stage 2 is gonna end at lap 80. We're gonna have another 20, about 67 laps to go. No, my math is wrong there. 20, probably looking at around, 67 laps to go there at the end there, Carlos. So a huge run there at the end with about 67 laps to go. So a lot of these strategies these drivers are feeling out here, taking notes, are really going to come into play there at the last 67 laps.
Yeah, and we've seen the drivers stay out for about 57 to 60 laps. So they're going to have to save some fuel if this is true. But I'm sure that these drivers can make it happen. We've seen some very amazing pit strategy and fuel saving from drivers in this race in the past. So we're interested to see if this can happen again.
Yeah, right now we're taking an onboard ride with Zach Evans there, and right there, he's up 6 spots there from the starting position there, Carlos. So really starting to feel himself here tonight. So the best lap time of 29.6 right now.
Yeah, and look at that time. Look at that time differential.
Yeah, starting to really put some wear on that race car, and I believe this is one of the cars that hasn't headed down pit road yet here in these green flag runs.
In this green flag run, no. He was one of the drivers that did go down pit road under caution, and since then it's been a hot minute. But I don't know. Zach Evans is kind of struggling right out here. He's hit the wall a couple times. His car is definitely tight. It's not gripping, and we've seen drivers just zoom right on past him already.
Counting down here in stage number 2. Our current race leader on the track right now is Nick Vasquez. Nick Vasquez won the Hard Charger Award there last week in last week's action there. Finished 12th at the end of things there, Carlos, but came up from the 28th position. Now tonight he is part of that field of drivers that haven't head down pit road just yet here in this green flag run. With 10 laps to go here, 11 laps to go here in stage number 2. If I were racing here tonight, Carlos, or if you were racing here, would you try to stretch it out to get those bonus points, or do you want to go ahead and head down pit road now and make sure you're good for that last run?
Am I racing for points, or am I racing part-time?
Because
I would not want to do what Zach Evans is doing right now. He is losing a lot of time. But I'm not quite sure fully. I probably would have pitted around this time, though. Realistically, I probably would have stayed out on that first caution, saved that set of tires, and then it wouldn't have really mattered to me because I just go down pit road when all the other drivers went down pit road when it first started. But this is difficult. He's losing a lot of time, almost a second and a half to his fastest lap time. And look at that, the 3 just zooms right on past him before they even properly get to the corner.
Yeah, folks, you're going to see that here as those drivers with the freshies and the fresh fuel tank. We're going to start zooming past these drivers with a lot more wear on those Goodyear Eagles here on lap number 71. Here we're live on 3Y TV, bringing you action out of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League here in the Throwback 200 here at the Lady in Black. Right now, it's Sam Foley is now the race leader on the track.
Yeah, I was expecting Zach Evans to go down pit road by this point. That's why I was on the camera for him for so long, but I think I'm going to call it there. I'm going to move on to what else is going on the track. It would have been nice to see Zach Evans' webcam in person going down pit road. Let's see if he goes down this time by. But yeah, you see more drivers going right on past. Oh, Zach was not happy with that driver. Is gave him a little, what do you just go on type of a hand signal as he went by.
And that was Schumacher there in that 09 that went zooming by there. A few more drivers are going to go to his inside. A little 2-for-1 action there as we see 2 more drivers pass Zach there on the track right there.
And those are drivers that went down pit road already.
Yeah, a few of those drivers are up there in the lead, are now climbing back up through the grid, waiting for some of these other drivers to head down pit road. But right now, for some of these drivers that are up at the top of the grid, this is where they want to be with 6 laps to go here. Going to get some points out of tonight's race. Of course, they're going to have to head down pit road here, probably here at the end of stage number 2. No cautions again, so no break in the action for these drivers unless a caution flies on the track. They're going to keep racing through stage number 2 here to those last 67 laps. But right now, Sam Buffoli is your leader for the time being. We're already starting to see those drivers climb back up there. Schumacher is one of those guys. Sam Brochu's up there. Keenan Riley, they're in the mix of these drivers that have stayed out.
Not sure who that was, but if you're watching right now, you're wondering why Zach Evans appears to be just hammering on and pulling off of that throttle very rapidly, going like that. That's not Zach Evans doing anything. That's just iRacing scrambling the data of competitors. Even in spectator mode, iRacing will not allow anybody but the actual user themselves to have access to the full telemetry. And to prevent people from just kind of like mimicking what other drivers are doing by watching the replay, they scramble their data, the throttle inputs, their brake inputs, their steering inputs. So it looks realistic from a distance, but if you actually try to like listen in or try to mimic exactly one-on-one of what they're doing, you're not going to get exactly what they were doing. So that throttle burping you're hearing is not from Zach. That's just iRacing scrambling the data.
Let's take a look here right now. Starting to wait for some of these drivers to head down pit road to see this grid reshuffle. With 4 laps to go here in stage number 2. Race leader still Sam Buffoli on the track, and for how tight this track is, Carlos, it's really been drivers coming off of corner number 4, coming off of corner number 2, getting a little sideways. That's caused the most action here tonight.
Yeah, and already we're gonna have three laps to go in this stage when Buffoli crosses the start-finish line next time by, as they get past here on the Bowen backstretch on Darlington here. The 08, which to me kind of looks like he's running that next-gen Chevy test car with a couple fancy graphics on the side. But crossing the line here, 3 to go here next, this time by to the end of stage 2 is Buffoli. It looks like he doesn't have any competition for this.
Now it looks like Sam Buffoli is going to take stage number 2 here, foregoing a caution on the racetrack right now. Andrew Hess is up there in the second position. Vincent Isabella really impressed me there at the start of that run. That 5 Machines worked his way up there in the 3rd position, but a huge battle right now for position. Got Andrew Hess, Vincent Isabella, and I believe there might be a lapped car in the mix up there as well. David Westergreen in that 22 is up into 4th, and our stage number 1 winner, we just saw head down pit road not too long ago, has got those freshies on that race car, is now up into the 5th position already, Carlos.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, but unfortunately he just lost too much time. There's too much time he's not going to be able to gain back, as 2 to go this time by. 1 to go this upcoming time here, as Buffoli's going to get ready here. Last lap here in stage number 2, Andrew Hess in second. He should be able to hold on to that second place spot, which is a good recovery, because we saw that that Cartoon Network Takeover late 90s car have an issue here at the end in stage 2, I should say. Brought a caution, getting involved in an incident. So it's a good recovery for Andrew Hess, as I'm sure he's nursing that wounded car to a second place stage 2 finish.
Yeah, and what a good way to get some points out of tonight's race. It might not be your race to win, but a great job to rack up some points here, as it looks like Sam Buffoli is going to take stage number 2.
Yep, so why don't you go ahead and take over for a little bit while I get our graphics here up and running.
There we go, as Sam Buffoli is going to take them down to corner number 1. Oh no, big touch off of corner number 2. You saw Andrew Hess right there. No, those are some lapped cars right there. Passing Buffoli, no, and we have contact on the entry of 3, as Sam Buffoli is going to head down pit road there.
It's Alex.
And that 08 machine's going to go down sideways, and that should bring out a caution there on caution. The track.
Oh, watch it, the 5.
No caution yet. Oh man, there, Carlos, as now we're starting to see those wave of drivers head down pit road. I think they were all thinking the same thing we were thinking up here in the booth. You go ahead and get that stage over with. You head down pit road at the end of that stage. Now we're going to start to see that grid go complete Yahtzee shuffle up there at the top. But I did want to jump over to the chat and say that we had Deanna in the chat saying, hey, number 70 there. And you see that 70 machine of Warren now up into the 7th spot right there, that number 70. Looking beautiful there on the track there, coming around the last corner number 2 right there. And Not a name we've called out a lot here, Carlos, but it looks like he's taking that strategy of some of those leaders there of pitting early, and now has worked his way up inside the top 10 there. So Deanna, the number 70 right there on your screen. Also, Thrasher the Black Stallions asking, what are we doing here with all the contact and wrecking each other there at the end of this stage? So a crazy mess there. I think a lot of those drivers wanted to head down pit road, so it just got a little crazy right there, but not as crazy as the 09 of Schumacher, who is now leading the race here once again on lap number 83. We're going to have about 67 laps to end this race here tonight, so I'm sure we'll see more pit stops ensue as we close out this race. Right behind Schumacher, we have Sam Brochu, who's raced in the top 3 virtually the entire race here tonight. Of course, Kane Riley in that machine's also up there in the mix. See Bustos, a name that we haven't really called out much this season as well, is now up in the top 5. And Barrett Polhemus, our lap leader from last week's, in the 5th position.
Well, right now that Schumacher is pretty much in Nega Delicado form, as Nega Delicado is actually making his way into 5th place right now. As Bustos is going down pit road, Jake Bustos, Davis Warren as well. But man, talk about our stage 2 winner, Alex Buffoli, going from hero to right now not so hero himself, making a big mistake entering pit lane. And we talked about that pit road. This pit road entry is very difficult. You have to slow down pretty much right before you even enter turns 3. Some of these guys are making that move before the backstretch ends. That's how difficult it is to go down pit road. Just carry too much momentum there, and as he ended up trying to slow down, get too much rear brakes, and the car went around. Thankfully, didn't really hit anything or anybody. Got close to the 5 there for a little bit, but no harm, no foul for those 2 drivers, except for Buffoli is currently the first driver 1 lap down, and he's not too happy right now, probably with himself.
Yeah, and for Buffoli, I can't knock his strategy there. You know, you get some bonus points for winning the stage. As mentioned, it might not be his race to win, as he's going to have a long way to go, and a lot of skillful drivers he's going to have to pass to work his way back up, probably inside the top 10 there, Carlos. But taking a look at our point standings there, we had John DeBarro in the 14th spot in those points, taking a provisional here tonight. I don't see Logan Savowski out on the track either. Brewer, we haven't called out here tonight either. That's 13th, 14th, and 15th in the points right now. So, you know, heading into next week, you get some bonus points in the mix. You can climb your way up into that top 12.
Brewer may have a provisional tonight. He is listed in the server, or at one point he was in the server, but he has not started tonight's race. So unofficially right now, he is listed in 30th place. Somehow, I don't know how this gets tracked, Cameron Perez and Matt Brewer did not start today's race, but Cameron Perez is listed as being behind Matt Brewer, even though he technically qualified ahead of him. So they're both counted as losing 1 spot and gaining 1 spot, respectively, for these drivers, which is weird. I don't know how the officials are going to count it when it goes into points, but as of right now, those 2 drivers have swapped spots, even though they never got on track. Oh man, that was a hard hit. Who was that I was looking at?
Look, there's Vincent Isabella there in that 5 machine.
No, that was not Vincent Isabella. That was the blue machine. I don't know what car that is. Maybe on the lead lap. I'll see if I can pull it here.
The number 70 right there. Of Warren, I believe there. Hard impact.
No, I don't think it's that either. It was technically behind Isabella, but I think that driver wasn't on the lead lap. No? Anyway, take over while I figure this out.
Yeah, Carlos, I wanted to mention, too, one of the surprising aspects of this grid on your left-hand side of the screen. Of course, we have a lot of fans in the chat here tonight. We want to appreciate everybody for tuning in here tonight at 3Y TV, bringing this live action every Wednesday night around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, man. Whoa, Nelly coming off the corner there. Vincent Isabella got tied up there. I can't tell which racer that was there, but just got a little hairy coming off the corner. That car seems to just be fighting his way around the track. One of the most surprising aspects about that grid there on the left-hand side of your screen there is Zach Roethlisberger has decided to park that race car here tonight. We saw him during Speed Weeks. They put forth a great performance there. Didn't come home with the victory there in the big main race, but really struggling along here. Still inside, I believe, the top 10 in points, but just not the way he wants to have his season go here. He's going to have to fight his way probably into the playoffs with some of these performances here lately. But taking a look at that top 10, of course, we have a fan of Ty McIntosh, one of our in-car camera views here tonight, inside the top 10 in the 9th position. Some of the other fans in the chat are saying, I hope he hangs in there. Anything can happen in the next 50-plus laps. Indeed, and it all really comes down to those last 50 laps or so in this series. We see it week in and week out. The action really tends to pick up there in the closing ambers of these races. They're going to ride on board with Alexander Schumacher here, up 25 spots here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We saw that 09 virtually came out of nowhere like the abracadabra and magic man Cal Naughton there in Talladega Nights. He said, now you see me, now you don't, because I am in the lead by a large margin up here by about 5 seconds heading down into corner number 1.
And don't forget, the important thing is he is a free agent, so teams, you may have found your next driver here. Look at that face. It's a perfect face for marketing.
Yeah, and a perfect race so far out of that 09 of Alexander Schumacher. Also, that was Shuey in the 09 there.
I was about to say, you can actually see
there.
the damage right here in our point of view.
Yeah, and you see that
I selected that camera while I was searching, and I was like, wait, that's the car. And then in my head, it's like, no, that's not the car. That's Schumacher. He's leading the race. There's no way it's him. But yeah, that was him.
And it doesn't seem to be slowing him down at all there. Carlos still knocking down those lap times. Just a little bit of a change there from his best. We saw it right there on the left-hand corner of your screen, right at 31 last time around. Actually, Carlos, we are starting to see that interval just kind of flutter just a little bit there on the left-hand side of the grid there. If you're watching along with us here at 3Y TV Live on YouTube, started to see just a little bit of a tick there. Keegan Riley's trying his best to chase down the leader there in that 09. But still a long way to go here, folks. You're going to see a lot more action take place here as these drivers get closer to one another here on this green flag run. And of course, Carlos, we cannot forget we have another round of green flag pit stops that will take place before this thing ends.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Is I'm not sure what I've done to not get this thing to work right now. What?
Taking a look here, of course. You know, Keegan Riley comes into this race feeling good about himself, Carlos. Won in the modifieds last night, so coming in with Shift E Sports, trying to carry that momentum into the stock cars here tonight. And, you know, Keegan's really had a great season as well there. Trying to put forth some more performances there for Shift E Sports, trying to put forth great efforts in these stock cars. And you're seeing it, the lap times right there, Carlos.
There we go.
You know, he's really staying consistent.
Yes, they're staying consistent, and they're also consistently faster than Schumacher. And here's the funny part: Riley actually has older tires than Schumacher, so this is pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe the hotter the
maybe
tire,
he did take damage.
the faster the car. And that was something we just took a look at there, Carlos, in that 09 machine. It's a very slight damage there on the right front fender there, but it could be just enough to where it's slowing down that 09. I mentioned it there, folks, if you're watching along with us here on 3Y TV. Those intervals, he had about a 4.5, 5 second lead there, are starting to flutter just a little bit. They're not by much, but each time around, you're starting to see that thing tick down. Each time, that's down to 3 seconds, 3.5. Now, each time he goes by, it's starting to get less and less of a huge lead there. And you're seeing those lap times on the bottom side of your screen there. But Keegan Riley, other than that last lap there, is running better lap times, as Carlos just mentioned. So we'll see. You know, Sam Brochu's right there as well, right on the back bumper of Keegan. So if Sam can link up with Keegan in that 11, it's going to be a 2-for-1 there if they can get up to the top.
Here's what I would do. All right. Realistically, this race is good condition, of a good chance of going green the rest of the way. It's been 40 laps since you've gone down pit road. You have at this point 46 laps remaining. Maybe pit in like 2 laps. Go down pit road. You have the damage. Don't fix it. It's a little too late now to fix the damage. But get the fresh tires and see if maybe with the extra lap or 2 you can maybe hold off Riley with that clean car. Because at this point, I think that damage is slowing him down a little bit he wasn't as consistent as he was before. Um, and that could be because maybe he's trying to figure out what the limit of the car is right now. Is Riley, Barra, Paul Hemus all going down pit road? They've listened to me. They're listening to me. I'm smart.
You are smart indeed, Carlos. You are the mastermind behind all these broadcasts here at 3Y TV. And we'll see at the end there, Schumacher still racing around the track here. You know, you just mentioned the fact that, you know, they had older tires, you know, smaller fuel tank, but I think right now it's really going to be the emphasis on tires here towards the end. You know, as this race ticks down, it's going to be the flip side there. You're going to see Alexander Schumacher there with the older equipment, with the older tires. And we've seen the difference as we're now 3 wide here at Darlington there. Got a little crazy there on the corner. We've seen the difference that those freshies make here at Darlington.
Yeah, you have to be careful with these drivers. The drivers have fresh tires. You have to be careful trying to pass the slower, old tire drivers out there because you're going to have a huge advantage, and it is your responsibility to get past them safely. Doesn't matter if they're battling side by side for the position or not. It's up to you to get past them safely. It's up to you to not bring out the caution. So these drivers have a huge responsibility now. They're going to be merging back up into the field with those fresh rubbers.
And we're seeing a side-by-side race now down into the corner right there. I believe that is Vincent Isabella right there racing it up there. David Westgreed's in the mix as well. I believe they're going around a lapped car.
Oh,
no! Oh, man. Great save out of Vincent Isabella there in the 5. Thought about going 3 wide into the corner. Wisely checks back a little bit. It's going to follow David Westergreen into the corner. You see David Westergreen up there with Robinson. And, you know, we really thought, you know, right now Robinson's up in the 3rd position. Of course, this thing's going to reshuffle here to cross the line here at lap 105. Really thought coming into this race that we're going to see a better performance out of Robinson there. But he's really following that second wave of car strategy there of pitting late.
Yeah, and I really don't know if that's still the right idea. You already had a driver chasing you down, probably because you were still trying to figure out the car, not how the car behaves with this current damage. But with that driver, he was close. See, within like 3 seconds, you probably should have gone down pit road, try to minimize that effect. As this is something else I was going to bring out. A caution could have come out. The caution's out now, but. Wait,
there it is. There it is.
The 09.
We have only our.
That was the leader.
That's Alexander Schumacher there in the 09. Alexander Schumacher, a driver that has dominated here in the second half of the race, rocking that Nike Air 1s there on the side of that race car here tonight. Just got a good look at that. Just went completely Tony Hawk 360 on the front stretch there. We'll take a look here. What happened to that 09? It's going to come off the corner. Ooh,
man.
Big scrape on the wall. It's going to get a little help from behind. And there he goes, spinning like a helicopter down that front stretch.
Of course, the 74 was no fault at all on that. Yeah, as unfortunately, U.S. Army machine kind of at the wrong place at the wrong time and ended up helping that 09 kind of get across even further. But huge mistake from Schumacher in the 09. Give it too much power exiting the corner. And instead of breaking loose and spinning the beans, just went straight up into the outside wall, bounced off it, and pretty much had nothing else he could have done.
And Carlos, you know, maybe if we can take another look at that, rewind it just a little bit. Throughout those runs there in that 09, we'll take a look again at the 3Y TV replay once again. You see him coming off this corner, and I saw it there. Even when he was in the lead, he was really pressing the issue coming off the corner, getting really, really close to that wall. And Carlos, in that one stage, you actually mentioned it there. He made a hard impact there. Didn't really take as much damage as he did there, but ensued damage on that 09. We saw the difference that was making already, so maybe he just wasn't judging that corner just enough there on exit, but we saw him kind of riding that seam, and right there he rode that seam right into the wall.
I gotta say, this caution helps dramatically for the 6 of Evans, the 08 of Buffoli, even Eckert, who was involved in an incident earlier, as they were all able to pretty much go down pit road and not go a lap down.
Yeah, and Carlos, one of the things that really surprises me here tonight, the lady in black has only given us 3 cautions here tonight, Carlos. So Usually the lady in black eats up drivers and spits them out, but tonight has been very clean. As mentioned, it's just been, we saw it right there with the exit of the corner with Alexander Schumacher brushed up on the wall. Our first two cautions of the night were almost the same instance there where drivers are getting loose, made contact with another driver. So really been clean racing here throughout. Nothing too malicious. It's just been straight up stock car racing here at Darlington.
Yeah. But why don't we go ahead and take a moment and talk to our Stage 2 winner, Alex Buffoli, and just kind of get his takes on his strategy of staying out to the end and his pit road mishap.
Hey Alex, this is Carlos and Will up here in the 3 Wide TV broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. Hello.
Yes, sir. My man, you took home the Stage 2 victory there. We saw kind of the reshuffle of everybody there during those pit stops. Take us through your point of view of tonight's race. We only had 3 cautions so far on lap 109. How you feeling the race is going so far for you?
I haven't done a league race since, before I started running here, with the new, limited tire selection. It's a blast. I'm still getting used to it. It's a blast. Darlington is a tricky track. Race has been a little crazy, especially it almost feels like a sports car race with different speeds with different cars. It's almost like different classes. It's been a lot of fun out there though.
Yeah, as we saw pit stops just ensued there, our 3rd caution of the night. Do you think you're good to go here the rest of the way? We're probably looking at around 35 laps to go here when that green flag drops. Do you think you're good to go, or can you push the limits?
I like to think so. We'll have to see what happens. Still a lot of race left to go. Different strategies. Some people have made their bets. Some people still have to make theirs. So stay tuned and we'll find out.
You're speaking with Alex Buffoli, our Stage 2 number winner there. And Alex, before we let you go, I know it's throwback night here in the Throwback 200. Explain your paint scheme here tonight, as a lot of different drivers are rocking different paint schemes there. I love the yellow rims on that race car.
Thank you. Those are to further accentuate the rookie stripe on the back. I like to call this throwback a throwback to the original Gen 6 paint scheme when it was still a test car. So that's what I'm going for right now.
Awesome, Alex. Well, we'll let you get back to it here. Congratulations on your Stage 2 victory. I'm sure we'll speak to you soon here. Good luck the rest of the way. There we go. As that pace car peels off here, coming around corner number 4, it's going to be Robinson in that 30, and Buffoli 1-2 there inside, outside. Going to take them across the start-finish line here, and the race is about to begin once again here in the Throwback 200, as it's going to be Robinson takes them across the line down into corner number 1.
Yeah, no competition at all. It's actually Alex Buffoli kind of has a challenge from Jake Bustos going into turns 1 and 2. Easier corner there for all the drivers as the 74 channeling inner Mark Martin as he's going to clear. Buffoli, and they're wrecking in the back.
Big wreck. Big wreck. I believe that's Keane Riley in the 11.
No caution. Caution is out.
The caution is out
as well.
No, and you see that 4 machine, Mr. 4 in a row. It looks like the streak might end here.
Oh no.
Wow, it looks like the streak is over, ladies and gentlemen. All great things must come to an end.
Is he crabbing, or was that just a coincidence?
We see damage to Nick and Delicato.
No, he's fine. I thought he had suspension damage, but turns out he probably just gave it too much gas trying to get himself turned around. But let's see what happened. We saw he and Riley go down to the inside wall. Nick and Delicato was involved, but was he involved after the fact? Oof. I think he was. He wasn't on this.
Oof.
Somebody must have hit him. Caution didn't come out until Nick and Delicato got sideways. The caution was not for Kean. It was for Delicato getting turned. What happened to he? Oh, man. Oh,
was that Tom Ogle that came up the track? Or Sam Brochu?
He's fine. He just lost a lot of track position. I thought he got turned or hit the wall or something. But he didn't really hit anything.
A little love tap from behind there, Carlos.
No, he just moved out of the way.
You see right here that 23 comes in.
Oh, there was some contact in the front.
At 23, he makes contact with the back bumper of the 23 there, so maybe a little bit of a slight damage there for the front of that race car. But Carlos, as you mentioned, it may have not ensued too much damage there on that incident. Still going to be a tough task to climb through the grid now. Is going to start basically at the tail end of this pack.
Yeah, thankfully nobody hit him from behind. So the only damage he got was some front end damage. Doesn't look like he's got any radiator damage. So he should be okay. New set of tires, and he'll start at the back. He'll have to recover. This is going to hurt his chances of winning, but there were a lot of drivers a lap down, so he's at this point right now only 15th. So it could be a lot worse. And we do apologize that our tower keeps on showing Robinson, our leader, as being in pit road. He is not. It appears to be a glitch. Hopefully it gets fixed before the race is over, but for right now, assume he's in pit road. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can fix it here. I fixed it.
See right now, a great run out of Robinson here tonight, Carlos. Really impressed by his performance here tonight. You know, one of those drivers that's really racing hard throughout, wants to get his car into victory lane. I think everybody wants to get their car into victory lane here. Nick and Delicato's got quite the streak going with 4 wins in a row. Who knows tonight, Carlos, if we have a first-time winner here in this series, it'll really shake up the point standings. Of course, it's going to take a little bit more than one race win to knock off Nick and Delicato from the top of the grid of those point standings right now. But right now, Carlos, a lot of these names on the grid that are inside the top 10 are these drivers that really give it their all week in and week out. You know, we're seeing names like Andrew Hess up there. We're seeing Barrett Polhemus, who led the most laps last week. Riley Marmabello's up into 8th. Sam Brochu has done a really great job here tonight. Seth Rawls is down in the 10th position. But for me, that really stands out is Buffoli's now up into the 3rd, still holding on in that 08 machine. And Bustos up there in the 2nd spot. You know, names that we've, in my opinion, really haven't called out at all this season, and now really racing for the race win here tonight at Darlington.
So we got a driver here in the infield care center, just moved into the waiting room. Let's see if we can get a quick word from Kian Riley.
Yes, sir. We'll bring him up here. And Kian, this is Will and Carlos up here in 3 Wide TV broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Sure do.
Man, Kian, you came into this race with a huge win last night in the modifieds. You were racing pretty good here tonight, if I say so myself. What happened there?
I just got stuck behind somebody who had no business being in front of me, and he couldn't keep his car in one spot and came down off the wall and cleaned me out. So.
Yeah, we've seen you really put forth an effort each week here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. I know I can kind of sense the frustration in your voice here tonight. Looking forward through the rest of the season. What are you learning so far throughout this season so far in these stock cars?
I learned tonight that I'm apparently pretty good at this car. I mean, I don't want to say I got stuck behind Sam because he wasn't slow, but I just couldn't get around him. And me and him are obviously faster than almost anybody else out here, and I got around him and drove away and was gapping everybody on the racetrack around me with relative ease. So it's a bit of a confidence booster, at least, knowing that I've got pace like that, especially at a track as hard as this one.
Yes, sir,
but frustrating that it had to end like that.
Yeah, that's a bummer there. Speaking with Kian Riley, who was just caught up in that last incident, as we're seeing Robinson with a big run down into 1 and 2 with that green flag waved. And Kian, we're glad you're okay. And that number 11 machine, we'll see.
Oh, me no fine.
2, huge wreck. A lot of cars piled up on the exit of 2. Huge pile up down the backstretch. Man, Kian, I'm glad you're up in the booth with us here, my man, because that was a huge wreck down the backstretch.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, you're going to get a lot more guys in here in a second after that. So I'll go ahead and say thanks for the broadcast. Thanks to Seth for painting the car. Thanks to the guys for putting the league on. And I'm going to sit here on pit road and get my car fixed and hopefully pass some of these guys that just got mincemeated.
All right, Kian, we appreciate you taking the time with us, man. Have a great night.
Thanks, fellas.
Wow, Carlos, what an incident we just had off of corner number 2. We had a iRacer point of view there of Evans was not too happy with what ensued there. Coming off of 2 right here. Oh, man, a huge pile up.
I want to say there was some netcode in there, but there was going to be contact regardless. And a lot of these drivers got involved in an incident that they had no part of at all, and it was just unfortunate for a lot of them. I'm gonna try to see who else was involved. Unfortunately, for some reason, the list of drivers who were involved in the incident isn't showing up. So gonna be a little harder for me to show replays. We saw the 54, the 22 as well, the 52. See if we can pull up some of these other drivers. A lot of torn up race cars here at the end, and a lot of upset drivers. The 52, he was not mad and turned it into the outside wall. He's got suspension damage that caused his car to shoot up into the outside wall. So that's something new with these cars to understand.
And I spoke about it before we hit that lap 100 mark there. In these races here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League, in that last run, and tonight we had 67 laps to go. Taking a look at this replay once again here on 3 Wide TV. You know, that's when the heat really starts to turn up. You start to see a lot more passing, start to see a lot more cautions, unfortunately, here in this series. I really feel like it's where the drivers really put forth a lot more effort. They start to see those laps ticking down. They're racing for position. And you really saw it there, Carlos, there on that restart coming off of 2. Everybody was so bunched up. Everybody was just trying to fight for position on there. As tight of a racetrack this is here at Darlington, it just takes one simple little mistake and you can pile up a bunch of cars.
Yeah, and we got Zach Evans here in the waiting room. We can talk to him.
Yes, sir. I'll bring him on up here for you, Carlos, because I'm sure you're going to have to hit that censored button for what he has to say. I believe we have Zach Evans on the radio.
Yeah, and Zach, I hate to tell you this. I was going to 100% bring you up in the middle of the last caution until we had the 11 pop in for an Infield Care Center interview. And I'm at this point, I'm very upset I didn't get a chance to do that to you. We would have been talking to you in a much happier circumstance. We're in the top 5 here late in the race, and unfortunately, you get wiped out here in another incident at the very end of the race. It must hurt right now, but how are you feeling?
I'm devastated, honestly, because I mean, you know, between here and Osaka and other leagues, what my season has been, and it was a little bit lucky. I didn't think the strategy was going to work out. Then we got that one caution, and we were set, man. And I thought we were going to get some TV time for this MeFine, U13Simware.com, Ford for Wally Racing, and I just don't know, man. I guess some people need to go back and watch Days of Thunder. They flipped the track since then. It was turn 4 in Days of Thunder. It's turn 2 now. You don't do that shit in turn 2. I just don't understand. I'm really frustrated. I'm sorry about my language, but there's 40 laps to go, and if you just wait one straightaway if you're that fast. It's just unbelievable how many cars got torn up in that because you couldn't wait 10 seconds to make a pass, and I'm just so frustrated.
Will, you have any comments?
Yeah, man, we saw you there fighting for a position, and I spoke about it just a little while ago. We've kind of seen a trend here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. You know, you guys raced out those first 2 stages, and then towards the end, that last run is where the heat really starts to turn up. You spoke about it just right there. The drivers really just trying to battle for position. Do you feel that trend as well as the season's sticking down?
Unfortunately, I don't want to sound like sour grapes, but this is, I think, other than Daytona, the furthest I had made it into a race in this league so far, so I can't really speak to that. At Phoenix, I think I was in 3 wrecks in the first 30 laps or whatever, so I can't speak to that, but it definitely seems like this year this season across all the leagues I'm in, the intensity is just so high, and it's a lot of take and not a whole lot of give, and especially at a place like this that just doesn't work, and it's really, really frustrating to finally feel like, I probably wasn't going to hang around the top 5. There were some faster guys behind me, but a top 10 was definitely within reach, and that would have been huge for my season, and now I'm on the hook again. So what do you do?
There we go. Well, we appreciate you taking the time with us here, man. Appreciate you let us have an in-car camera view with us here tonight as well. I'm sure, oh no, man, big contact off of 4 there, and we'll let you go, Zach. We appreciate you taking the time with us here, man. We cannot wait to see what you have in store for us next week.
Hopefully it'll go better.
Yes, you had a lot of screen time tonight. Don't worry about that, bud.
I appreciate it.
Heartbreaking to see, of course, Zach Evans, long time through ITV in-car camera. Of course, we also have the help of Ty McIntosh here tonight. Unfortunately, his camera angle appears to have stopped working a little bit through. I'm sure it's an issue on our end, though. But 25 laps to go. Josh Robinson and Sam Brochu have kind of separated themselves just slightly from third place of Barrett Paul Hemus. And Will, with 25 to go, who do you think has a good chance of winning? I really don't think that Indelicado's going to pull that 5th win in a row here tonight, considering the fact that he is right now 11th. But it's not over. We've seen him pull through. Some of his victories haven't been hard. Sorry, I should say. Well, no. Excuse me. Sorry, that's wrong. Some of his victories haven't been easy, I should say. They've been hard.
Oh. We're starting to see a big move for the lead right there. I was just about to say Sam Brochu's now our race leader on the track. But my call of the race here tonight, a driver that I've been impressed with here throughout tonight's race, has been secretly climbing up through the grid, led the most laps last weekend there, Carlos. That's Barrett Hemus right there now, up in the 2nd spot. As we have 24 laps to go here, coming around corner number 4 to this start-finish line here. Going to cross the line here with 23 laps to go. Sam Brochu's our leader down into 1. Barrett Hemus is right there, as well as John Robinson. We have some fans in the chat that are cheering on Ty McIntosh to finish this thing out here tonight. Don't look now, Carlos, with 23 laps to go. Nick Indelicato has now cracked inside the top 10 up there, so keep an eye on that as we tick down this race here with 23 laps to go down into corner number 3.
Yeah, we got the camera working again. Just have to refresh one quick thing. But Ty McIntosh currently in 9th place. Saw him involved in an incident earlier in the race, but is able to catch back up and is looking to finish this race strong.
Yeah, up 10 spots from where he started here tonight, holding on to that 9th position. Right now, as we're going to cross that back stretch here down into corner number 3 here with 22 laps to go. Currently, Sam Brochu's our race leader on the track. Great run from Sam here tonight. His race inside that top 5 throughout tonight's race. Of course, we've seen a reshuffle with those pit stops taking place, but doing a great job of working his way back up the grid here as we have a move 3 wide down into the corner right now. Johnny Eckert's in that mix up there in the 90. Great way of working his way back into the race as well. We've seen Johnny tagged up a few times here tonight. And that's one thing I want to mention here as we're taking down the laps here. Johnny's going to go to the inside here on corner number 3. Going to try to make a move right there on Seth Rollins there. And they know each other quite well there.
Ty McIntosh went wide in the middle of 3 and 4. Hit the outside wall a couple times. Not happy with the 4 of Indelicato. Not sure if he got forced up or if he felt he had to go up because of the 4. But a little bit of frustration right there with the 4. Ty McIntosh is right now as Indelicato has moved on into the 9th place spot as Ty has dropped 1 spot. But still, so far, if Ty ends up finishing in the top 10, this is going to be a great result for him. And speaking of Eckert, he's had a very up and down, very mixed season, uncharacteristic to Johnny Eckert, who is a champion among champions himself. So he's looking to finish strong here again tonight. Involved in a couple incidents last week. So he wants to make sure he's going to be able to get another good finish here for the record books.
Yeah, Johnny Eckert's been tagged up a few times here tonight, but a great way of staying motivated, staying confident in your driving ability, keeping that thing inside the top 10. That's one thing about these Dynasty Stock Car Racing League drivers throughout the starting grid. Doesn't matter if you're starting on 1 or 21. You know, you have that momentum, that confidence that you can finish these races out. And Carlos, we've seen it week in and week out. You get tagged up early, you get tagged up a few times. You can still walk away with a top 10 or top 5 finish in some cases, but right now still Sam Brochu's our race leader as now we're single file heading towards that front stretch.
Yeah, this race has been pretty weird. Darlington is usually very unforgiving, and of course we've seen that in the way these drivers are handling the track and with them hitting the walls. People are up against the walls many times, but usually at a track like this in Darlington, you're gonna get long green flag runs, which we've had, but usually if you make a big mistake, you're pretty much out of contention for a win, let alone a good finish in the top 5 or top 10. But multiple drivers here tonight have had incidents, many of them multiple times, and yet we're seeing people like Buffoli, Indelicato, Eckert, McIntosh getting back in the top 10 regardless of the fact that they've been involved in issues.
Yeah, and that 08 of Buffoli's doing a great job of kind of watching that back mirror just a little bit, seeing about 3 or 4 cars right behind him, but also maintaining position on the track, trying to hold on to a top 5 finish here with 16 laps to go, as he's got quite the train that's coming behind him right there, led by Seth Ross, and Seth Ross is going to overtake, and to think about it, Nick Indelicato is going to go with Seth around Buffoli right there. They go side by side down into the corner. Nick Indelicato and Seth Ross are side by side now, racing it out around the corner side by side. This is a battle for 5th position right now. He's going to cross the start finish line here with 15 Laps to go. Nick Delicado is trying to race his way back up the grid, trying to make a comeback like the Miami Dolphins did against the Baltimore Ravens this past weekend. Trying to come out of nowhere, Nick Delicado now up into the 5th position.
Yo, I had Waddle and I had Tua in my fantasy lineup. I unfortunately benched Tua though, so I didn't get those 40 points.
Those 2 picks probably didn't help there in his fantasy points. The 6
win, though.
touchdowns definitely did. And Sam Brochu is still our race leader here, starting to separate just a little bit with 14 laps to go here. Barrett Plahimus is in 2nd. Josh Robinson is in 3rd. Bustos in 4th. And our Mr. 4 in a row is now up into the 5th position, trying to work on the 4th position. It's going to go high side down there in the corner.
He's 4th now. Ooh, in the wall a little bit, but that's fine. I think everybody's
going to scrape just a little bit there, Carlos.
Yeah. Oh, whoa, we got a slow car down at the bottom. Not going to be a caution, though. I think that's the 3 of Meng Han. Another, unfortunately, inconsistent night here for Meng. Has the speed, but unfortunately, issues tonight is going to result him in finishing at least a lap down, currently in 17th place. Actually, I think he should be 2 laps down now because of this. Whoa, he's multiple laps down. I apologize. But, oh my gosh, in Delicado, where is he coming from? This whole race he's been in the back half of the top 10 or outside of it, involved in an issue, and now he's running really good lap times, and with 10 to go, he might get there.
Yes, sir. With about 12 laps to go here, Nick Delicado has his sights set on Josh Robinson for that podium finish right now. Currently our race leader on the track, still Sam Brochu right there, taking an onboard ride. Seeing this action, that's Ty McIntosh right there taking an onboard ride with him. He's currently 7th right now. Going to hold on to a top 10 finish right now, up 12 spots from his starting grid. So,
McIntosh is moving up.
11 laps to go.
McIntosh is moving up. Buffoli is moving down. He's been struggling these last couple laps. He's been dropping down a bit. McIntosh, we saw him get past, kind of hit the wall. Felt like he maybe got forced by the 4. Dropped down to 10th, is now back up to 7th, and he's right behind her. Bustos in a 74. And the way McIntosh is kind of emoting himself there in his in-car cameras is in a wall. He thinks that he's definitely faster than 74, but maybe now not so much.
And Carlos, if you watch the top hand of your screen here on 3Wide TV, Nick Delicado is seeing exactly what he wants to see. He wants to see Barrett Plahimus and Josh Robinson battling out in front of him. He's going to make a move once they start battling, go door to door. We've seen it throughout tonight's race. He goes to the inside of the cars that like to battle it out in front of him there, as Nick Delicado is now trying to race his way up into the top 3, coming from about the 10th position here in the last couple laps. You're taking a look here at Sam Buffoli there in that 08 machine, dropping down the grid now all the way down into the 8th position. But here we go, we're taking a look once again at these top 4 cars with 9 laps to go. Sam Brochu still our race leader. Barrett Plahimus in 2nd, Josh Robinson in 3rd, Nick Delicado in the 4th position in that number 4. Looks like Nick has that speed to get around Josh Robinson. There's going to follow him down into the corner. You see we're going to take an onboard ride here with Nick here. Taking a look there at the inside, coming around corner number 4. He's going to think about it here for just a second. Going to ride along with him down at the corner number 1, up 14 spots from his starting position. And we'll see if he can make a move here on Josh Robinson here for that 3rd position. Try to come away with a podium at least with 8 laps to go. Getting down the backstretch here, Sam Brochu is going to take us down into corner number 3. And Nick is right there, Carlos. We'll see if he can pull off the comeback here tonight.
I just can't believe this. I am literally in awe right now. Even if he doesn't win this race, I just don't understand how he's getting there at the end every single week now.
And a big mistake out of Sam Brochu there. You saw him get really loose on the exit of the corner. A little bit of a separation now between those top 4 cars. Sam's going to take him down into corner number 3 here with 7 laps to go. Nick Delicado's climbed up into 3rd. Now has his sights set on 2nd there. Barrett Plahimus in the 2nd position right now. As they're coming up on some lapped cars here, Carlos, it's going to get tricky here at the end with 6 laps to go.
It sure is. And also in the meantime, McIntosh did get past Bustos for that 6th place position, but he's got a long ways to go before he catches the back of Rawls there in 5th place. So unless a caution comes out, McIntosh will realistically possibly be finishing there in 6th place. At least at
He's
best.
going to try to the inside here on corner number 3. He's going to take it 3 wide into 3. Try to overtake for the second position. And there he goes. He touches just a little bit around the corner with Barrett Polhemus. Going to go side by side, door to door here, crossing that start-finish line here. 5 laps to go, still racing for second position down into 1. Nick and Delicato on the inside, Barrett Polhemus on the outside. Nick's trying to hold his line there on the inside. He's going to have it. He's going to have to check up just a little bit there on the corner. He's going to lose a little bit of speed. Down the backstretch here comes Josh Robinson. He's going to push Barrett Polhemus just a little bit there. Nick's going to stay in that inside lane down into 3. He's going to try to overtake for second. This is exactly what Sam Brochu wants to see out of his rear view mirror there up in the lead position. He wants to see these dogs battling out here on the track as we cross the start-finish line here with 4 laps to go.
He might be able to do it. He's outperforming all the guys in front of him, and he's catching. He's actually getting a little bit of time there throughout the corner.
No way.
He could have enough time to get there, but the question is
Brochu
going to be able to hold him off? I don't know what he is doing. Like at this point, I actually would consider hacks. At this point, that he's that good there. I know he's not.
Here.
I know he's not. But still.
Gonna cross this line with 3 laps to go. Throw up your 3s. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt as we're heading down into corner number 1. We have a battle now on our hands. Sam Brochu, our race leader, sees that black and red car out of his rear view mirror. Is gonna get a little nervous, just like if you saw Dale Sr. coming up in your rear view. You know that car is coming quick, fast, and in a hurry. Coming around corner number 4 here, about to cross this line with 2 laps to go.
0.3 of a second that last lap this time by. Let's see what it's gonna be. Another 0.3 of a second. He's gonna get there, but we saw him struggling on the inside. What is Brochu gonna be wise enough to give him that inside and then hope that he struggles there on the bottom? But Brochu himself is loose, man. He's loose. It's gonna be close.
Here he goes, down into 4. He scrapes the wall on corner number 4. Nick and Delicato is right there on the back bumper. Gonna follow him around corner number 4 onto this front stretch here. Nick and Delicato has the speed. Sam Brochu got loose off of 4. And there's a caution. Caution on the track. Oh my goodness gracious.
He had it. And Delicato was gonna win that race if the caution not come out. Well, I mean, he still could, but... Wow.
Wow. We're gonna have a green-white checker to end things out here. But Nick and Delicato is now going to be right there for the race win. Wow,
I believe Buffoli crashed. That's what the caution was for. And yeah, his name did pop up, so that's good. Let's take a look. Hit the outside wall pretty hard. Came across. Is that Ming Hong? No, that's not him. I apologize. And turn it around.
That's there.
No, that's Ming Hong there. No, I thought the blue car was Ming Hong, but he was further back. Ended up coming back up across the racetrack, probably outside of his control. Ended up getting turned. We have a couple drivers going down Perry Road. Tom Ogle, Kevin Strongberg, Johnny Eckert, and Davis Warren down Perry Road this time by. Who knows? Maybe if we have another quick caution, that could help them out. But for right now, Sam Brochu and Delicato, Polhemus, Robinson, and Rawls are your top 5.
Oh man, I would be sweating inside that race car if I was Sam Brochu. Man, thinking you had the race won, you had some separation, you had some battles ensuing behind you, then all of a sudden you turn around with about 4 laps to go and you see the black and red car, the number 4 machine of Nick and Delicato creeping up to you. Man, that heart has to be racing. Your palms have to be sweaty on that steering wheel here with 3 laps to go. It's going to be quite the finish here on 3Y TV.
And this happened to me yesterday after the race, but I'm sure his knees are weak as well.
Oh, man. And my hat's off to Sam Brochu, whether he gets the win or not here tonight. Great race from him tonight here, Carlos. That's really going to help him in those point standings of working his way up that grid there. We don't see him inside the top 12 just yet here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. I'm sure he'll catapult his way up that standings with a finish here tonight. At least a top 5, top 3 at least here if it all settles out the way we see here tonight, Carlos. But who knows? Could be Barrett Polhemus that comes home with the victory as well down there in the 3rd position. See some crazy finishes so far here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. I'm sure we're in for another one here tonight.
I really don't know what to think right now. I had that caution not come out, I genuinely believe in Delicato had that race win.
Man,
even though Brochu was a leader, coming to 1 to go. That advantage that Indelicato had exiting the corner while Broshu hit the corner entry and then got loose exit. I feel like he would have for sure gotten side by side if Broshu did not throw a wrecking block. And probably would have had it by the exit of turn 4, if not the exit of turn 2. I really think Indelicato had that win. The caution's out.
He was right there.
The caution's out. This is good for Broshu because he could possibly get a really good restart on Indelicato.
And he's been very good on the restart so far. That was a point that I was just about to mention as well there, Carlos. He's had these rocket restarts here tonight. I've seen about maybe a couple instances where he was side by side, then really pulls off down into 1. But things are about to get very, very toasty here tonight at Darlington. You see the pace lights are off of that pace car. And with 3 laps to go, we want to shout out all the wonderful sponsors here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League that makes these broadcasts possible. Of course, Manny Ray Cemetery and Maintenance there. Pro Air, which we thought was an AAC company, but they provide wonderful health equipment and health supplies for all those wonderful people out there as well. We want to thank the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League for having us here. We love these races here on 3Y TV. It is exciting from start to finish. We're in for another exciting finish here tonight, folks, and we want to appreciate everybody for tuning in here live on YouTube. It's going to be quite the finish here as Nick Indelicato is going to go try to get his 5th win in a row here. Sam Broshu is going to try to fight his way to the finish with that 23 car in victory lane as we're coming down into the last corner. About to go green flag racing here once again in the Throwback 200.
I don't want this race to end. It's that good.
Oh, yes, sir. As you see that pace car peel off, Sam Broshu, Nick Indelicato are going to go side by side here on the last corner down the front stretch. The green flag is in the air. Sam Broshu, Nick Indelicato, 1, 2. Oh, no! Nick Indelicato gets loose. He gets loose on the restart. Sam Broshu, big wreck on the front stretch. Caution's out.
Delicato's going to lose 2 spots in that exchange. That's going to really put a hamper on him. Broshu, on the other hand, coming out victorious. Waited till the last possible moment before he hit that gas, and he hit that gas hard. And he went really hard on that restart, and he almost spun his tires himself, but was able to successfully trick Indelicato into spinning his tires, checked everybody up on that outside line, and eventually caused that little checkup wreck there to start this this possible final restart that is not going to be the final restart.
No, and unfortunately for the Black Stallion, I think that Ty McIntosh may have been caught up into that action.
Yeah, I just saw that right now.
See right here, yeah, him and Josh Robinson get tangled up there right on that restart. See, Johnny Eckert as well is going to take some damage in that mishap.
I think the 10 will be fine, just some fresh tires.
Yeah, trying to hold on to a top 10 finish here tonight. Did a great job of trying to avoid that checkup. Just headed back into that outside and just got tangled up.
Johnny Eckert involved as well, like you mentioned.
Yeah, we're going to have another green-white checkered finish here. A second overtime, if you will, here in the Throwback 200. Carlos, we couldn't expect anything less here tonight at Darlington. I spoke about how it was sort of a calm race leading up to this point, leading up to the last 67 laps or so in tonight's action. We only had about 2 or 3 cautions leading into this last bit of racing, but now we're up to 7 with the heat up in the action at an all-time high here to close things out. You see right here, once again, this look at this restart. It's unfortunate for a lot of those drivers, Carlos, that were holding on to top 10 finishes. You know, they stayed consistent. They battled back in some of those instances there, battling through damage. But now with this crash here, it's going to be hard to try to get back up into the top 10. You see Ty right there. Yeah, David Westergreen's caught up as well. Josh Robinson we saw inside the top 5. So a lot of those names that we're calling out here tonight get entangled in that craziness on that restart, Carlos. But man, we're going to have a finish now with Nick Indelicato down into 4th. Barrett Paul Himmis right there in 2nd. And Seth
we got Ty in the wing.
There we go. A great run there. But see if we can't bring up a Ty McIntosh for a quick chat here before we go green flag racing. And Ty, this is Will and Carlos in the 3Y TV broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Man, Ty, you had a lot of fans in the chat here tonight live on 3Y TV. You're holding on to that top 10 finish there. Who knows? You might be able to climb your way back up in there. Take us through what you saw in that restart.
I mean, you know, it's typical restarts. People spin their tires, and I know Nick trying to guess when the leader's going to go. He's got pressure on him, so just it's old tires, man. When everybody runs out of tires, you don't have a choice. We're all just out here trying to do what we can, and Darlington especially. I think I really tried to get underneath the 30, and then I had nowhere to go. So, you know, I feel bad for Far Dirt. I know they were watching, and Thrasher was watching, so I appreciate them hanging out, and it definitely sucks. Yeah, I don't know where the speed came from in this thing. It's one of those things. I don't really get to practice for races, so I kind of have to feel it out. Tire strategy's been weird, to be totally honest with you. It's been hard to know where we're running compared to everybody else and who's got tires and who doesn't. So I know you guys are having a terrible time trying to figure that out because we have no clue. So it's something, man. That's just Darlington, though. It's a pain in the behind to drive, but once you get settled out, you kind of figure it out. That's just late restarts, though.
And Ty, you're going to restart here at 11th. Still have an opportunity with a top 10 finish here. What can you carry forth from Darlington into next week, and how can you keep that momentum rolling?
I mean, I know right now I think I'm in a must-win position to make the playoffs, so I know what I have to do. Unfortunately, I don't think I can make it in on points, but I mean, I've learned that I can run up front with these guys and keep up with my teammates, so that's most important to me.
Awesome, Ty. Well, we appreciate you taking the time here as we're about to go Green Flag Racing here. Once again, speaking with Ty McIntosh of that number 10, was just caught up in that last incident on that restart, and Ty can't wait to see what that number 10 has in store for us here at 3YTV next week, and I'm sure all your fans in the chat do as well. We appreciate you taking the time with us, Ty, and we'll speak to you soon.
Of course. We'll see what she's got right here.
All right, that was Ty McIntosh there in that number 10, Carlos. But let's go Green Flag Racing here. Once again, our second overtime of the night here in the Throwback 200. The pace car has peeled off. Sam Broche is going to lead them to the start-finish line here with Barrett Polhemus there on the outside. Nick and Delicato on the outside lane as well with Barrett. Also, Seth Raw is going to start on the inside right behind Sam Brochu. As now Green Flag Racing here once again with 3 laps to go. As Sam Brochu is going to take them down into the corner clean so far down into 1.
Nick and Delicato tried to do everything he possibly could to get either to the inside or the outside of third place. Paul Hemus wasn't able to work out for him, so it's going to be really hard as a couple drivers in the wall, couple drivers wrecking in the back. No caution so far. 2 to go still this time by Delicato. Caution is out.
Caution's out again. Caution's out again. Once again. Big wreck on the backstretch here. Oh, man.
That was a wreck starting all the way in turn 1.
Huge pile up once again there, Carlos. It looks like we're going to have our third overtime of the night.
Take a look and see what happened there involving the 22, the 30. Couple drivers up ahead, or excuse me, I don't think the 22 had anything to do with it. I'm not sure. Oh, actually, he was involved in the second incident with the 5, maybe? No? Why was he selected in the incident? The 7, he's going to come down. The 22 doesn't actually get involved in this. Not sure why he showed up at all. I apologize. See who else? Davis Warren was involved.
Yeah, that we just saw tangled up there on that restart. Get tangled up once again. Looks like we're coming off of 2 there. And just, we've seen it all night long there, Carlos. You know, coming off of 2, these drivers are used to racing, you know, the wide corners, the big super speedways, the motor speedways. Darlington, it's super tight. Yeah.
Zach Evans saying, I just assumed. I just assumed that Isabella got involved in another one. No, it's just his name popped up red here, my ticker, in my telemetry. I assumed he got involved in an incident, but yeah, hard damage for a lot of drivers, including the 12 who had to backwards drive it a bit more. But here's what I thought was going to happen. We saw the 25 hit the outside wall, exiting the corner pretty hard. That kind of got Paul Hemus a little loose, and Delicato went to his inside, and then the caution still hadn't come out, and by the time the caution came out, he was still behind the 70, and they made contact after the caution came out, but they were slowing down. That could have been way worse had the caution not come out, because that would have been going much faster when they hit the wall. But interesting to note now the 25 has some race damage or heavy contact. But even worse for the 4 is he is still stuck in 4th. That's the worst spot for him to be to contend for a win. It's not over yet, but this is going to be the last attempt at a green-white checkered. So it's over after this.
And this is it. This is our third overtime here in the Throwback 200. And Carlos, we've seen a crazy restart. We've seen them coming off of 2 get tangled up here. Ambrosiu is still our race leader here right now. And behind him, he's got some really heavy hitters here. He's got Seth Rollins up there. He's got Barrett Polhemus up there. And Nick Indelicado. Now, my question to you, Carlos, now we're going to have 3 laps to go here. Of course, a green-white checkered finish to end things out. If you were Nick Indelicado, do you go for 5 wins in a row, or do you push your teammate Seth Rollins across the line?
Oh, he's going to go for 5 wins in a row if he can. I know he's not going to go to wreck his teammate, but at this point, I think he really wants to get that 5th win in a row. But realistically, though, he should just be trying to get the best he could without really wrecking his car. But I think Indelicado probably won't get it done now. His best chance was that move right before the first caution came out to send us into green-white checker territory. He had that race won, and now since then he's just been put in a bad spot. He spun his tires on that first green-white checkered attempt, lost 2 spots. The second green-white checkered attempt, he wasn't able to get Polhemus just a little bit behind him, and we're gonna see this final green-white checkered attempt. He's still stuck there in 4th, the worst spot to be, because the leader's gonna be choosing that lane. The 25 will be of all the 4 drivers here in these first 2 rows. The 25 is gonna be the slowest. Advantage right now between the 79 and the 4 is going to go to the 79 because he's going to be right behind the race leader, and the 4 is going to be quick on the draw because he has a good view of the leader, but he's going to get stuck behind the 79, excuse me, the 25, his teammate. So it's going to be hard for sure.
Yeah, as you see, the pace car is going to lead them around the backstretch here. Top 10 on the track currently. Of course, Sam Brochu 1, Seth Ross 2, Barrett Polhemus 3, Nick Indelicado 4, Johnny Eckert is in the 5th spot, Bustos is in 6th, Ty McIntosh in the 7th position, Tom Ogle right there in 8th, Josh Robinson is slid down into 9th, and David Westergreen at 22 still hanging on to a top 10 finish here, Carlos. Now we're running this last corner. The pace car is going to peel off. We're going to go green flag racing here once again. Whatever happens here, folks, this is it. Our 3rd overtime of the Throwback 200. Sam Brochu is going to take them and creep around corner number 4. The green flag is in the air. Sam Brochu is going to take them across the line down into corner number 1.
Decent restart for the 25, but it's not going to be good enough as Polhemus is looking on the inside there for that 2nd spot. Leader's going to be going way by himself already into turns 1 and 2. No problem. 25 on the outside wall again. Johnny Eckert going on the inside. Caution is out.
Caution's out, and I think that's it, Carlos. The race is over. Sam Brochu is going to be our race winner here in the Throwback 200. He's going to conquer the lady in black and hold on to that lead position, as that 23 is going to take the race win here as our caution comes out on the backstretch. What a win it is for Sam Brochu.
2nd winner in the series, the 2nd winner in the 5th race overall. 5 races so far, and we finally have a 2nd name to add to the league's long-standing list of winners. Congratulations, Sam Brochu, getting his 1st win here of the season and of his career. And unfortunately, Nick Indelicado tried to do everything he could, but it's going to come up 1 spot shy here in 3rd place. 2 spots shy, excuse me. I can't do my math correctly.
No, I'm really impressed of not only from Sam Brochu winning the race, or Nick Indelicado climbing up through the grid. He went from the 10th position to finish 3rd here, had a shot at the race win. But Carlos, I gotta say my hat's off, and I'm very impressed by the run of Sam Brochu here tonight. We saw him there in qualifying, had one of the fastest times in that Q session. Coming into the race here tonight, is raced inside the top 5, top 3, never really faltered at all. So, of course, we saw that interchange with the pit stops and everything, but it was always that 23 machine that was up there in the top 3 or leading this race here tonight. Closes it out, does what he has to do to come home with the race victory. What a track it is to win the lady in black here. That 23 is going to burn it down here on the front stretch.
And it's just fantastic.
And And looking at that, as that 23 is going to come around the last corner to that front stretch, the fans are patiently waiting there, and that Spino design is going to spin all around that front stretch there. Our top 4 drivers that qualify for the Dash for Cash next week is Johnny Eckert there in that 90 machine, Nick Delicato in that 4, Seth Ross in that 25, and of course our race winner Sam Brochu is going to burn down those Goodyear Eagles here at the Lady in Black.
Congratulations, Sam Brochu. Held on exactly as far as he needed to do to get that first dub of the season. And he's going to be burning it down with his throwback number 23 machine. What a fantastic drive. Redemption Motorsports is participating for, and he sure pulled on one amazing show here tonight for us.
It was for Sam Brochu. As mentioned there, Carlos, you saw it in the Q session, one of the fastest times on the track. I believe he was just a couple of tenths shy of starting from the pole here tonight. Comes home with the race here. We take a look at these official results. After 3 overtimes, things are finally over here as Sam Brochu, our race winner here from Redemption Motorsports. Seth Ross from Shift Esports going to finish second. Nick Delicato, a teammate of Seth Ross, is going to finish in third. So 2 drivers in that Dash for Cash next week. Johnny Eckert's going to come home 4th. Jake Bustos in 5th. Ty McIntosh almost comes home with a top 5 finish there. Comes home 6th here tonight. Tom Ogle is going to come home 7th. Josh Robinson's going to hold on to the 8th position. Barrett Paul Hemus is going to slide down into 9th. We saw him racing up there for that race victory as well, Carlos. David Westergreen in 10th. Davis Warren's going to come on 11th in that 70. Vincent Isabella. Hey, good job there, Vincent, there holding on in that 5 machine with all that craziness there. Going to come home 12th. Jordan Tarble with a great finish here tonight. Probably the best finish of the season so far is going to come home 13th. Kevin Sternberg's going to come home 14th. AJ Watkins in 15th. Min Hang's going to come home 16th. Almost about 10 laps down. So another disappointing finish out of Min Hang there. 17th is going to be Rich Allen there. 18th is going to be DJ Weeks there in that 97 machine. 19 is Alex Buffoli in that 08. Ran pretty good there the first quarters of the race. Going to finish in 19th. Probably not the finish he wants there. And Nick Vasquez in 20th. And I'll throw it over to you, Carlos, to finish it out.
Yeah, 21st, Ken Riley Marabello in 22nd, Andrew Hess in 23rd, Zach Evans in the Me No Fine Machine, number 20, and finishing in 24th. Alexander Schumacher won stage 1. Remember, still a free agent, great driver. Just made a costly mistake there towards the end, costed him a good finish. Fred Anderson in 26th, Zach Rossesberger in 27th, and Damian Leininger in 28th. Or excuse me, there were a couple more drivers. Let me pull them up here. 29th, Justin Bentley, and 30th and 31st, Cameron Perez, Matt Brewer did not start tonight's race. They'll be credited with, I believe, a provisional.
Yeah, what a race it was here tonight, Carlos. But I believe you're catching up with Mr. 4 in a row. The streak is going to end at 4 here. Mr. Nick Delicato, I believe we got him on the radio if you want to catch up with him, Carlos.
I'll have a couple words, but I'm going to be leaving you with the rest of the interviews. But Nick Delicato, I just don't know what to say, dude. I wrote you off towards the end of the race. The whole time you were in the bottom half of the top 10, towards maybe sometimes outside the top 10. And then like less than 40 to go, you're just charging through the field like as if you just turned on like all the grip in the world. You had that race won. Had that caution that did not throw us under the green-white checker not come out and the white flag came out instead, you had that victory. The 23 hit the wall entering turns 3 and 4 and then got loose on the exit of 3 and 4 while you ran a perfect corner. You had the advantage. You probably would have gone to his inside had he not thrown a heavy block. And that would have been it. You would have cleared him by the time you exited turns 2. You would have won this race. Unfortunately, the caution came out and the 23 just... I don't know if he played you correctly or if it was just the perfect timing, whatever it was, got you to spin your tires and check up the field. You lost 2 spots before that caution came out that put you in 4th. Overall, just tell us what was going through your head this whole time.
Yeah, that was an eventful race. Really, I mean, you didn't see me at the front. I started 18th, didn't even get a Q lap in. So it was struggle. This track is so you need track position to do well here, and I didn't have that really most of the race, and I was working towards it during most of the race, and I never write myself off, but if I were watching myself and I didn't know who I was or whatever it may be, I would have written myself off as well if I was a viewer, because that I don't know, it just at the end there I put together good laps. It seemed like the key was I was being steady coming off the corner and kind of being patient. Everybody else is pushing, and with these cars it really rewards being patient on the throttle. So I didn't think I'd be able to get up there. I knew if I wanted a shot at the win and a shot at Sam, I had to get past Barrett, he's incredibly fast, and he's such a clean guy, and we had an awesome battle. So I knew I had to get past those guys as quick as possible, and all I can ask is I put myself in a position to win, and I think I would be more upset if I finished third the way and I didn't have a shot at it. I think I'd be more upset at myself. But all I could ask for is a shot, and I think there at the end, if it was me in the 23, it would have been a hell of a battle. Somebody would have been in the wall, whatever it may be. But in the end, I had a shot at 5 in a row, which is pretty cool. But I'll take third.
Will, why don't you go ahead and take the rest of this interview?
Yeah, speaking with Nick Indelicato here out of Shift Esports. And Nick, as mentioned, your streak's going to end at 4. Probably going to still have the top of the point standings so far here. Going to be pretty psyched, though, that your teammate, your teammate finished 2-3 here. How do you think Shift Esports can continue this dominance throughout this season here, even though you didn't come home with a race win?
I think it's just being consistent. Kian was up there a lot of the race, and he had the track position I was talking about. He did a great job. He got caught up in that wreck. I don't know. I've yet to look at the replay how I didn't destroy my car in that wreck he was in. But yeah, everybody did a good job. I mean, I messed up Tyler there on one of those restarts with I think 5 to go or whatever it was. On lap 150, I spun the tires on the outside and caused that wreck there. So I feel bad for him. He still finished 7th though. Seth did a great job at the end there. The contact, obviously he didn't want that. I know he'll speak to you guys about it, but overall, a double top 5 team wise, triple top 10, and somebody else who had winning speed, even though they didn't finish the race. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, man, we're going to head to another short track next week as we head to Martinsville. But with that impressive run there, I believe going from about 10th position up into 3rd, you almost won the race there at the end. Of course, you qualify once again for that dash for cash. How exciting is that aspect of this league?
Yeah, no, it definitely adds an incentive, and I shout out to Johnny for making this happen. This is a really fun league. I think obviously there's been some mishaps, but it's in its first year. We're only in the 5th race, and really, when you can go green flag to the end at say Daytona or even last week, it really just shows how clean guys are. So it was nice to see people be clean. Obviously, people had their wrecks. That's racing. But yeah, Dash for Cash, pretty cool. Hopefully, Martinsville, if I had to put it on the list, Martinsville is my worst track. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can finish. That's the goal, is to finish next week. And then I know we got a couple really good racetracks for myself personally coming up. I think it's Pocono and Indy Road Course. So goal is to get another win here in the next couple weeks. But, next week, just finish.
Speaking with our 3rd place finisher here, Nick Indelicato. And Nick, usually we speak to you last, but you know the drill here. With that podium finish, we'd love to give you drivers the opportunity to shout out anybody you have watching at home, any sponsors you have, and where people can find you on social media.
Yeah, as you guys see, we had some really cool throwbacks for Shift Esports. Personally, I love the one Seth made for me. I got to pick it out, and he really put it on there. So, looks awesome. And with that, if you guys need a paint scheme for iRacing, whatever it is, check out Seth Rawls. He finished 2nd with us tonight. He also makes great paint schemes. So check him out, Twitter, Instagram. If you need a paint for iRacing, hit him up. Along with that, you see Sam Drace photo on the side of the car every week. Sam is a great friend of mine, great motorsports photographer. Go follow him on Twitter, Instagram. He takes great pictures. Other than that, Shift Esports, our team as a whole, we're trying to build up the social media, so go follow us on there. And thank you guys for broadcasting.
Yes, sir, and great run, Nick. And as mentioned, you just said Martinsville is not your favorite track, but of course you qualify for that Dash for Cash. So keep an eye out for that number 4 machine of Nick Indelicato next week. And Nick, we appreciate you taking the time here, and congratulations on the 3rd place finish. Unfortunately, the streak ends at 4. What a run it has been, Nick. But have a great rest of your night, man. We'll look forward to next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You guys have a good night.
That was Nick, and Delicato is going to come just a couple positions shy of going 5 in a row here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. Going to come home third. We saw him battling for the lead there at the end. Going to bring up his teammate, though, who comes home second tonight at number 25 machine of Seth Ross. And Seth, you now joined us here in the 3Y TV broadcasting booth. And Seth, you're going to come home second here tonight. Had quite the battle there at the end. Your teammate was trying to juke and jive his way up into the lead. Take us through your point of view of tonight's race. I know it got a little testy there in the last bit of the race with about 67 laps to go. The caution flag started to rain down, but take us through your race here tonight.
Yeah, first and foremost, wanted to apologize to Barrett. Definitely didn't want to get into him there at the end. However, I just don't think we were going to make it for that corner. As we found out all night, too wide through that corner is not that fun, especially on old tires. So definitely wanted to apologize, though. I did get in the wall there. But yeah, overall, the night was good. It's kind of as a grind to get up to the front there. We were playing a different strategy than most people, but I thought it was the right strategy. Obviously Nick was fast, but I feel like I was right behind him. But yeah, I think the race went really well, and I'll take another second. 2 times in a row I've talking to you in second place, but second place is not bad at all. Especially for points, it's very good.
Yeah, Seth, we saw that there. It got a little crazy at the end. The first half of the race, I believe we only had about 3 cautions. Then with about 67 laps to go, that's where things got a little bit more crazy. And of course, we had 3 overtimes at the end. Did you feel any of that behind you, that craziness that was ensuing, or were you just focused on getting past Ambrosi there for the lead?
Yeah, I think that was all the byproduct of the different strategies, and this track is really hard to pass on. So we got lucky at the start, really, to get out of that kind of caution fest. Once you're green here, it's not that bad at all. However, once the cautions come, everyone wants the spot in front of them. It's the overlap is huge, and then the aggression is also huge. Definitely felt it. Different strategies, you can definitely tell people are coming, people are going, and unfortunately, it's kind of like a street circuit at this place, so there's nowhere to hide. So that's probably what caused the later yellows.
And speaking of craziness, your teammate there, Nick and Delicato, came from about the 10th position, drove his way all the way through the grid. Did you see that number 4 in your rear view? We just spoke to him just a little while ago. He spoke about how he kind of gave you a little bit of a racing move there, a little love tap as he was trying to get by you there. Did you feel that pressure at all from the number 4?
Yeah, I think he definitely was the faster car. It was tough to let him go by, but I feel like it was the best interest of both of us, actually, because once I let him go by, he kind of punched a hole for me to get through. So I kind of, I don't know if you guys saw me, but I was kind of right behind him a little bit. So I think it was a better move. It obviously paid off. I think if we went green to the end from, automatically, I think he definitely had something for the 23, and I think I had something for the 2 guys in front of me. We could have had a 2-3 the other way, but the yellows kind of were not in our favor, obviously. But we'll take it and move on.
Yeah, 3 overtimes there at the end. But Seth, with that second place finish, of course, you qualify for your first Dash for Cash race next week at Martinsville. How you feeling carrying that momentum and confidence into next week?
Hey, it's my second one. I qualified for Phoenix.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the fastest car on track, I don't think, but anything can happen in Martinsville, obviously. Never driven a next gen car there, so that'll be fun. I think we downshift, right? From real life, they downshift, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, got that scratch, a little extra money in the line. I'm down for it. A little short track action. I'm gonna give it my all.
Awesome, Seth. And before we let you go as well, let you get to those shout outs, but Nick just spoke about those awesome designs you did for your teammates there at Shift Esports. Take us through your paint scheme here tonight in that 25 machine. I know a lot of drivers threw it back to the old school. Explain your paint job here tonight.
Yeah, I was really excited to do my paint scheme. It was a throwback to Casey Kane's number 9 Nitro car. I think he ran in 2006 or 2005. Kind of a, not really anyone knows about the paint scheme, but I loved it. Lightning strikes in a race car. Can't get any better than that. Obviously, I went with the blue instead of red. Just for my partner, I think the blue still is cool though too. And it kind of gives a little Mopar vibes too. So I thought it was really fun. I also I don't know if you guys saw it in my hood, but I included in the real car it's a Dodge Nitro, so they're showing off the 2005 Nitro. Instead, I put my Dodge Dart I drive at home. In real life, I put out that on the hood because I thought it was funny. But yeah, overall, I think the paint scheme came out really good. I can kind of give myself a shout out here. Check out SethRellsDesign.com if you want your own paint scheme. I do throwbacks, obviously, but also other kind of paint scheme and stuff like that, and other graphic design stuff. Yeah.
Awesome, Seth. Well, speaking with Seth Rollis, you're gonna come home second, right behind the leader of Sam Broche. You're gonna hold off your teammate for that second place finish. But Seth, with that podium finish, we'd love to give you drivers the opportunity to shout out anybody you had watching here tonight. The chat was quite live, and we had a lot of viewers here watching here tonight. Any sponsors you would love to mention, where people can find you on social media?
Yeah, I gotta give out the shout out to Launch Partners. Great marketing firm. Will help any small business really get off their feet, or get on their feet. That's what I'm trying to look for. With any social media stuff. Great great small business that's looking to get into the world of marketing and social media. Give a shout out to For Hollow Dirt. They were watching us, I think, tonight, Tyler said. So that was fun to hear a little motivation from them. Great sponsor, Shift Esports. Shift Esports itself. Great work by all of our guys tonight. Unfortunately, King got taken out in an early wreck, but all of us had speed. All of us had top 10 speed. Almost had the win. So I couldn't get better than that. And then lastly, or second last, I'll give myself another shout out, SR Design, SethRellsDesign.com, blah, blah, blah. And then you guys for putting the broadcast on.
Awesome, Seth. Well, we appreciate you for putting forth quite a show for the viewers at home. We had a 3 overtime finish here tonight. Gonna come home second here. One of your best finishes so far this season. Can't wait to see what you have in store for next week at Martinsville. Coming home second here tonight, Seth. Have a great rest of your night. I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. That was Seth Ross going to come home second here tonight. He's going to hold off his teammate Nick Indelicato for that second place finish. But last but not least, it is time to speak to only our second different winner here on this season. The guy who's going to break the streak of Nick Indelicato at 4 in a row. Our race winner here at the Lady in Black. The man of the hour down there celebrating in victory lane. The number 23 of Sam Broche. How's it going, Sam?
Well, I'm pretty hyped right now. I'll tell you that much.
Man, you win quite the chaotic race there at the end. We had 3 overtime finishes. I'm sure up there in the top of the grid, you felt like this race was never going to end there. You had Nick Indelicato racing you down there. Take us through your point of view of tonight's race and how you were able to put that 23 in victory lane.
Well, first off, qualifying third was the biggest thing. Well, before I even go into that, mind you, I had missed 2 weeks. So, coming into this race, I had no expectations. I just wanted to, get some stage points and finish in the top 4 if possible, just to get, some points to at least get me back into chase contention. But, once I qualified third, I started feeling really good. And then I got the lead early on, led a lot. And then, me and Kian, we were just duking it out the entire race. And, that was probably, the best part of the night, just battling with him, trying to figure out where he was running and getting the speed while trying to hold him off. And, the strategies worked out really weird. We saw a lot of different strategies, which some of them I didn't even expect to see. So, it was really interesting pitting and then, having to run that, I think it was like a 40-lap run, 35-lap run until we got that first caution for the green-white checkered. But yeah, once I saw Indelicato, coming in my mirror, I was like, oh, no way. There's no way I'm winning this race. Like, he's going to pull a slider on me in 3, and I'm going to clap the wall. Like, it's over. Like, he's going to win it. But, once that first green-white checkered happened, Barrett, my teammate, he was, calming me down, and we were coming up with plans. And, we started, and then a caution came out, and we started again, and then the caution came out, and then I was like, you know what? I won't even be mad if another caution comes out, because that'll be the race. And then that caution came out, and I was like, I don't know where that win came from, but, it's a win. I'm going to take it. I'm celebrating with my zebra cakes right now, so we're having a good time.
Yes, sir. No, it was an impressive win there, Sam. We never really saw you falter out of the top five or top three at all. Of course, we had that reshuffle there with the green flag pit stops. Take us through. You just spoke about how you worked with Barrett Polhemus there, your teammate. Take us through kind of the strategy throughout, because we saw a bunch of different strategies here tonight. We saw a mix of drivers up there with fresh tires, with old tires. Those green flag runs were different because a few of you guys that were in that lead pack had to work back up through the grid because a lot of those guys stayed out. Take us through your strategy here tonight. Obviously, it worked out pretty well for you there, Sam, as you're in victory lane here at the end. But kind of break down for the viewers how you're able to do that.
So when that first caution came out, me, Barrett, and Riley, we were all, deciding whether we wanted to pit or save that last set just in case. And so we decided, well, I really decided for everybody. I was like, you know what, I need to get the most stage points I can, so I'm going to stay out. And I ended up getting, I think I finished second in the first stage. So that really set the tone for the race. I saw, how the strategies played out. Once all these guys on the fresher tires started getting in front of me, I was like, okay, well, the lowest I'm going to fall to is 6th or 7th. And that's exactly what happened. And then, as we pitted, I started, picking them off. And then I found myself, what was 4th. And then, that caution came out and I was 9th, I think it was. And then they wrecked. I clobbered somebody with my right front. And I was like, oh, now I'm 4th. Strategy is like perfect because I don't know if I'm on fresher tires and these guys in front of me are, but I know I've been faster than them all night long. So like this should be a breeze. And I wouldn't say it was a breeze like Joshua Robinson. He actually battled me pretty good. I was just able to get into 3 a little harder than he could. But yeah, strategy was definitely stressful tonight, especially with the three sets of tires call. That was an interesting one. I wouldn't say I was the biggest fan of it, but I mean, I guess I kind of have to be a fan since I won on it. So, I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to, still eat my zebra cakes and have a good night.
Yeah, as he's munching down on the zebra cakes, catching up with our race winner here, Sam Brochu. And Sam, of course, you qualify for the Dash for Cash. You end Nick Indelicato's streak at 4 wins in a row. Heading off to Martinsville, another short track next week. Do you think you can carry that momentum and confidence into next week, seeing as though you're the #1 qualifier there for the Dash for Cash?
I'm good at Martinsville and like everything else besides the next gen car. I'm kind of trash in the next gen car, but we'll see. What we can do there. Like I came into Darlington, not feeling very confident, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna run top 20 all race. Like I'm not gonna do very well, but we came out of 1, so the least I could do is not necessarily take that same mindset going into Martinsville, but taking the mindset into Martinsville being like saying, I came into Darlington thinking I'm gonna run top 20, and here I am, sitting in victory lane. Like the least I could do is take that into Martinsville. So it's not, the greatest track for me, but I think I can do what I can at Darlington at Martinsville.
Yeah, you definitely put forth an impressive performance here tonight, Sam. And it was the Throwback 200. You won the Throwback race here tonight. We saw a bunch of drivers with those Throwback paint schemes. Explain your paint scheme here tonight.
Yeah, so it was 1996 Kyle Petty Coors Light Throwback. I saw this car, I think it was at the Racing Warehouse one time, or it was at some race, and I saw it, and I was like, that would be a dope throwback to do, because I know Throwback Weekend's coming up. So I looked on Google, and I found some, pictures, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go recreate this. Like, this would be absolutely super cool to run. So, and, John, my team owner, his mom is a giant Kyle Petty fan, so this one's, like, especially for her. So it was really cool to do a Kyle Petty throwback. Kyle Petty is one of those drivers where I kind of looked up to him in a way. He was really good. He was an underdog. That's kind of like my driving style. I like to be there in the end rather than in the beginning. So it was really cool to throw it back to Kyle Petty. I don't know who I'm going to throw it back to next season. But, Kyle, this scheme was definitely one for the Bucks.
Yeah, definitely. You don't hear that name tossed around too much. Kyle Petty for me, you think about when he took over for Adam Petty's the sprint car there in that 45. You think about the mellow yellow car. But you found one off the books there, that Coolers Light car there, Sam. So what a throwback that was here tonight. But Sam, with the race victory here tonight, you win the Throwback 200. You had some fans in the chat. You had Spino Racing in there shouting you out there. Attaboy, Sam. So we'd love to give you that opportunity now down in Victory Lane to shout out all those fans you had watching here tonight. Those sponsors that made that victory possible, and where people can find you on social media.
Oh yeah, definitely got to thank Jo at Spino Racing. You know, he does a lot of really cool stuff for us over there. You know, he hypes us up before every race, gets us ready to, you know, go in and attack. Always keeps us on our toes. Got to thank, you know, AK Performance as well. All they got. So AK Performance, I race Legends cars for them in real life, so they let me use the logo on the car, and then you know, all my teammates Barrett and Riley, you know, they were helping me out during this race, just saying, you know, keep calm, you got it, just be aggressive but be smart, and yeah, that's really it. We're gonna go have us a good time tonight.
Yes, sir. As you see, that real life experience is now paying off here on this simulator. Sam Brochu, our race winner here in the Throwback 200, did an impressive performance. Gonna celebrate with some zebra cakes here tonight, man. I know with me, I escalate and sometimes I eat the whole box, so be just a little bit careful there with those zebra cakes, Sam. But it's well deserved here tonight, as you're gonna get the race victory here. Gonna end Nick and Delicato's streak. Gonna see if you can put that 23 car in victory lane next week at Martinsville. But a huge congratulations from us here at 3YTV. Thank you for taking the time with us here, Sam, and I cannot wait to see you again next week here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, sir. And that's Sam Brochu, our race winner here tonight. And Carlos, you know, really an impressive performance. Usually it's Nick and Delicato that we use that adjective for, but tonight it was Sam Brochu there in that 23. You know, we heard him talk about how he had to race through there, a couple of different strategies throughout the race. Those strategies really seemed to pay off there. He really used his teammate Barrett Polhemus. We also saw racing up there in that top side of that grid. Really work with him throughout. He had his teammate calming him down there in those green-white checkered. So a lot of different strategies, as we see week in and week out here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League, really paid off there for Sam.
Yeah, well said. Darlington's always a tricky beast to maneuver and conquer, and tonight it was conquered, and by a brand new winner here of this season. Second winner overall of the season, 5th race in. Martinsville's going to be a different type of beast altogether, and for some people, it may be a very, very long night. But we'll see how this league's going to tackle on Martinsville. We're going to have some fun the whole way there. But aside from that, Will, any last things you want to say?
Just that I'm impressed there, Carlos. You know, we only had 3 cautions leading into the last 67 laps of the race. We saw the heat. It was like somebody turned off the AC on the track. Things started to get crazy there at the end. Just gonna shout out a few of those drivers that really stayed in the race there. You know, David Westergreen we saw up there, Ty McIntosh, a few of the drivers that got caught up early, really held their composure, held their confidence throughout. 3 overtimes to end this thing here tonight. We had our second different winner of this series. I cannot wait for Martinsville next week.
Yeah, well said. But other than that, yep, we will see you next week at Martinsville. It's going to be a blast, and we'll see if we can get a third different winner of the season.